Don't forget about his playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byers. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on the Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hey, we are back live on Facebook, on YouTube, and Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Shout out to all of our listeners who've been super patient on the Facebook and YouTube side of things. Damon, waste no time, says, I'm glad to see you guys back on Facebook. We are glad to be back on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Well, I didn't lose all that weight over the last year and a half just so I could, hide behind the mic. I mean, come on. I mean, everyone looks forward to seeing this big old whatever this is on my shoulders over here. So welcome in. Happy Friday. TJ Brusher on Facebook. He's excited that we're back as well. I'm assuming he didn't do a middle finger emoji, so that's a good thing. But I see some Bengals in this profile picture. See, it's always good to see that when Bengals fans are excited that we're back live on Facebook. Maybe you're more excited to see Kev, but regardless of whoever you're excited to see, we're just glad you're tuning in. But yes, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM, streaming live at wingam.com, and of course live on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. Like and follow along. Plus, you can, of course, subscribe to ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. Shows in their entirety, select segments, and all interviews. You can be found right there. But yes, we had a week of technical difficulties, but we got that addressed. We got that fixed. It's not like the Bengals offensive line that you just let continue to be bad. We got it fixed. When there's an issue, we fix it, right? Like we're not Mike Brown. Our offensive line was bad this week and down this week, but I went ahead and got it fixed. Like that's what you do when you have. I'm joking. The Bengals are a game away from an AFC title game potentially.
I was going to say, camera's back, Kinner back.
Lights, camera, action. So there you go. All right. So yesterday we were talking a little bit to close out the show about Pro Football Focus, and they had their rankings of their top 10 quarterbacks returning to college football next year. And, to me, I'm not a big Pro Football Focus guy just because I think that they've done a hell of a job of marketing that. I think they have really good quality people working there. And they've come up with this little calculation to come up with their own Pro Football Focus grades. They grade individual players, individual performances. They grade them by quarter, teams as a whole, position groups as a whole. I mean, if you're a numbers type of guy or gal, Pro Football Focus is for you. But the big question I always ask is, what are those numbers actually telling you? Like, do I need Pro Football Focus to tell me that Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks I don't need that. I don't need that number to tell me that. I heard Colin say the other day that his issue with analytics being used so much in football is that in baseball, you can narrow it down a little bit more to that particular pitcher. You can narrow it down to that particular hitter, but it's hard to really narrow it down to a quarterback who on a weekly basis faces a different defensive front, faces different secondaries, different situations because they might be playing with the lead or without a lead. Not saying that pitchers don't pitch with the lead or without a lead in baseball, or hitters, there's just more variables that are not accounted for when it comes to analytics within football. And baseball is a little bit more one-on-one than you like to think it is. It's pitcher versus hitter.
Right.
But, we're grading quarterbacks and talking about how well they played, but like how well they play sometimes could be skewed by how bad of a secondary they go up against, like when the Joe Burrow faced the Ravens, which is why I didn't buy into it a whole hell of a lot because of how bad the secondary. But then when he followed it up with kicking the Chiefs' ass the very next week, then it's like, okay, that's how you get people's attention right there. But analytics, will show that, man, Joe Burrow was just unstoppable against the Ravens. And I'm like, well, everyone looked unstoppable except Baker Mayfield against the Ravens because that secondary was garbage. So I'm not a big Pro Football Focus guy for that very reason. They have these calculations. They come up with these solutions. They come up with these little math equations. And I'm like, but what are they trying to prove with it? When you say Joe Burrow is the number one, he's the highest graded quarterback this year. Are you saying he's the best quarterback this year? And if not, then what's the point of being the highest graded quarterback by Pro Football Focus? I'm using Joe Burrow as an example because I did get a lot of that this year about Joe Burrow being the highest graded quarterback in the NFL, which, by the way, it doesn't surprise me. He's super efficient. He has weapons all over the place. He stopped turning the ball over, especially in that. I mean, it's been a month and a half since he's turned the ball over. So if Joe Burrow is the highest graded quarterback, according to Pro Football Focus, does that mean he's the best quarterback in the NFL? And the answer is no. So if you're not the best quarterback in the NFL, but you're the highest graded quarterback in the NFL, what's the point of being the highest graded quarterback in the NFL? That was the big debate that we were having to close out the show yesterday. Now you could even narrow it down a little more. He's the highest graded quarterback this year. Okay. Does that mean he's the best quarterback this year? The answer is still no. So again, I ask you, what is the point of being the highest graded quarterback this year if you're not the best quarterback? And it's technically about Joe Burrow, but it's not. I'm not here to bash Joe Burrow. My point is it's using the Pro Football Focus rankings. I bring this up because, we are back and live on Facebook and back on YouTube. So for those of you watching on Facebook and YouTube, look at this. This was the Pro Football Focus quarterback list, the top quarterback rankings heading into this season. Heading in, Patrick Mahomes, number 1, Tom Brady, 2, Aaron Rodgers, 3, Russell Wilson, 4, Deshaun Watson, 5. Now, it was interesting that they did have Deshaun. I mean, this came out, I remember specifically, Kev, whenever we knew all the legal situation that he was in, he was still on that list. Don't blame them for putting him there. I mean, he's still an active quarterback technically in the NFL. He's not active in regards to like playing every week, obviously, but the NFL never shut him down. It was just, the Texans that shut him down. But like I see Matthew Stafford, I guess I'm looking at this list. I'm like, I see Drew Lock coming in at number 32, Jalen Hurts at 31. Jalen Hurts deserves to move up that list. We had issues with the fact that guys like Zach Wilson and guys like, Justin Fields and some others, were popping up on this list. And they never even played a down of football.
Right.
So that's what I found amazing about this list. But Pro Football Focus, these are the quarterback rankings coming into the 2021-2022 season. What kind of stands out to you, Kev? I see Joe Burrow at 18. I think the guy that improved his stock more than anybody else on this list is Joe Burrow. And I think that the guy that comes in second as far as improving their stock would be Matthew Stafford. And I think you have to put Derek Carr on that list as well. Where are you? I know I didn't give you much time to dissect this list, but I think Joe Burrow improved his stock more than anybody that's on this list right now. Joe Burrow, again, number 18. Even I thought that was kind of a low ranking for him coming into the year.
See, the thing about Pro Football Focus, and they do these rankings and everything like that, they like to skew the line. They like to dance the line. They like to throw out their grades and then throw out preseason quarterback rankings. So is this based off the rankings from last year? Because if it was based off the rankings from last year, obviously guys like Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields shouldn't be on the list, or they should be at 32 altogether, lumped up in one spot because they haven't played any football. So part of this list is based off of the rankings from their grades and then their expectations of going into the season. As far as guys that definitely exceeded expectations, you got to go with Joe Burrow. I mean, they had him all the way down there at 18. He's definitely played above that. Another guy that definitely played above it, you talked about him, Jalen Hurts. Now, Jalen Hurts may not be like the supreme passer, but you got to give credit to their head coach. And I'll be the first one to say, that opening press conference where he's doing the Zoom call and he looks nervous as all get out. He and the Philadelphia Eagles try to come out here Oklahoma style and spread offense and throw the ball all over the lot. Well, that wasn't working. They were losing a lot of games. So they dialed it back. They started going to more of a passing to the tight ends, a lot of a running game and everything like that. So you got to give the coach and him a lot of credit for adjusting middle of the season. Another guy that definitely jumped up, in my opinion, is Jimmy Garoppolo, especially the back half of the season where he won a lot of games in the fourth quarter with his arm and everything like that. So he is 22. So I would imagine he's jumping up into the top 15 by now. So, yeah, it's a lot of fluctuation that goes on from the start of the season to the end of the season and everything like that. As for guys that probably were up there way too high, and I mean, my eyes just are drawn to Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins, I could imagine he does great in Pro Football Focus grades, because if you look at his stats, Good quarterback. 4,000 yards, 30-some touchdowns, man. He didn't even throw double-digit interceptions and everything like that. But he doesn't convert on third downs. They punt a ton. And they're down a ton, and they have a ton of good guys offensively on that team. And they don't win a lot of games. So that's one guy that stands out to me. Another guy on there that stands out to me that hurt himself, Daniel Jones. Now, 20 isn't a great spot, but, I mean, Daniel Jones, man. Daniel Jones needs to be down there where Drew Lock is. Now, and Drew Lock, I liked Drew Lock coming out of college. Don't think he'll be the starting quarterback for Denver Broncos ever again. But Daniel Jones needs to be at 32 because he's god-awful. And so is that team.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy about all this too? I mean, you talk about Drew Lock. So if you're just tuning in, these Pro Football Focus quarterback rankings, these were the rankings coming in to the season, and I wanted to highlight these just because yesterday we were talking about Pro Football Focus and just how crazy some of these lists are that they put out, that they kind of justify using their formula, their model that they come up with these grades for. And I'm just not a Pro Football Focus guy. I'm not saying that there's not information that they come up with that's not valuable. And obviously a lot of teams pay for their services too. So it's not like, that they're not credible, I guess. But I guess we consider them credible because NFL teams use them. And obviously there's some information that's out there that NFL teams find useful. But at the end of the day, I've asked this a billion times. I'll ask it a billion more. If your quarterback is graded the highest graded quarterback in the NFL this season, super. But when I counter it with, so is he the best quarterback in the NFL this season? And you say no, I just don't understand the purpose of why that's a big deal. Super, you're the highest graded quarterback in the NFL. What does that mean? Does that mean you're the best? No. Then what the hell's congrats. I mean, you're the best at what they grade.
Yeah, I mean,
at
the same time, they have QBR, they have quarterback rating and everything like that. There's been years that guys have had high QBRs and quarterback ratings, and Tom Brady was still alive. You know what I mean? So stats can tell you one thing, but your eyeballs and your feel of the game and who you would really want on the last drive of a game is something totally different. And, this is just another step of analytics being in the game. And us people as fans, we always crave more information. We want to know more about our favorite team, our favorite quarterback, our favorite player, and how they're doing, and to justify them being better than the next guy. And this is just another tool that people use.
So Randy Berthoff on YouTube. Randy, I hope I said your last name correctly. So again, Joe Burrow, highest graded quarterback according to Pro Football Focus this year. I ask you, so does that mean he was the best quarterback this year? You say no. Then what the hell's the point? Now, Kev, I'm not ignoring what you just said, but like QBR, which I even use in arguments a lot of times too, because if I can find a number that the quarterback I'm backing is high in, I'm just going to use it to fit my narrative, right? But I'm not any different than you guys. You guys do the same thing. I promise you this: if Baker Mayfield was the highest graded quarterback according to Pro Football Focus, you guys would be ripping it, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. So Randy says, I take it as a skill set. Burrow can be the highest graded, but not the greatest quarterback in football. But that still doesn't make sense, Randy. Like the grades are based on this season. These quarterbacks are given the grade for what they have this season. So if he had the highest grade this season, and you're saying he wasn't the best quarterback this season, I don't understand what that is. What is that a reflection of, other than, hey, based on their criteria, you get an A. Super. I don't know what that means. At least, in high school, college, everyone has the same grading scale. So an A in high school in one class is the same as an A in another. And with this Pro Football Focus, they have their own little grading scale, but it doesn't really reflect what we know as good quarterback, bad quarterback. Joe Burrow is a good quarterback, by the way, but not better than Aaron Rodgers, not better than Patrick Mahomes, not better than Tom Brady. So Randy goes on to say, while he still has the tools to be the best, he's lacking experience and knowledge gained over time. That I'm not going to argue with, because I still think he has room to improve and get better. But for me, right now, that's not what Pro Football Focus is not taking that into account. That, well, we're going to give him an A. We're going to give him a curve, I guess. We're going to grade him on a curve because he lacks experience and he had an injury last year. That's not, these are hard numbers. It's not for me. That's all.
It's a numbers game. It's totally a numbers game and everything like that. But that's why we play the game, and that's why we have eyeballs, and that's how we know. Nobody out here is saying Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the NFL.
Pro Football Focus is. He's the highest graded.
Best graded. He gets the best grade.
But what does that mean? If I have the best grades, so let's go back to high school because everyone's like, Kinner, I bet you were the smartest one in your class. I was. Kinner had the best grades of everyone in his class. So does that mean I'm the smartest? No. So then what the hell's the point of bragging?
You tested better. So here's an example. Our class valedictorian in our high school, ACT time comes around. She doesn't do so well. I am not the class valedictorian. I do very well. I do very, very well. I'm not smarter than her. I just took that test better than her.
Or you took easier classes than her.
No, I'm the ACT. You know what I'm saying?
The ACT. My fault.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got
clearly I did well on that too.
I got a 25 just to remind everybody out there. It's graded out of 32. Just a little slight flex.
Okay.
So she did not do so well. Granted, the second time she took it, she got a 32 out of 32. So at the time, I was like the smartest kid in our school because I got the highest ACT score in the school.
Well, and I'm annoyed that Joe Burrow was graded the highest in the NFL, and here's why. Not because I'm a hater. It's because now this is turning into a Kinner's hating on Burrow segment. And I promise you could even ask Kev. Kevin, I've bitched to him about Pro Football Focus forever. It has nothing to do with Burrow being at the top. My point was because yesterday, Pro Football Focus, based on their grades, said that Spencer Rattler in college was better than CJ Stroud. That's the stuff I'm talking about, guys. So I promise you this. I would have had this discussion no matter who the quarterback was with the highest grade. But the thing I'm just using it as an example because it's relevant because he is the highest graded. And I know Burrow's really, really good. Look, I don't need to always put a disclaimer out there. I ate enough crow last week, admitted I was wrong enough last week. I've told you how good I think Joe Burrow is. He's the best in the AFC North. He's better than Baker Mayfield. That's common sense at this point. So you guys need to stop being a bunch of pansies and get over yourself. I don't need to always put a disclaimer out there, Bengals fans. Get over yourself. Bottom line is he's not the best quarterback in the NFL, not this season, but Pro Football Focus said he's the highest graded. But again, I don't know what does that accomplish if you're not the best. To me, like I'll take Aaron Rodgers bum. He got I think like seventh. I'd rather be the seventh highest graded quarterback than the best at that point because it's Aaron Rodgers. I'll take the seventh dumbest quarterback in the NFL, Aaron Rodgers, than the smartest as far as that's concerned. So Jake Whiting says, and what up, Jake? Philly fan, Jake. You know, Jake Whiting gives me a lot of crap for being a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan. Mm-hmm. But, I'm friends with old Jake on Facebook. And Jake, it was like he shared a memory, him and his wife. Shout out to him and his wife. But there were pictures from, I think their baby shower or something. But he was just covered from head to toe in Philadelphia Eagles garb.
Fly, Eagle, fly.
So what the hell, Jake? You have officially lost all credibility to ever come at me about any of my NFL opinions when all of a sudden now you're draped from head to toe in Bengals gear. I mean, come on. You're a bandwagon. You're a band. It sounds to me like you jumped on the Bengals bandwagon more than anything. I'm just throwing that out there. But Jake Whiting says, talking about Joe Burrow based on being the highest graded quarterback. He's up there with Aaron Rodgers and Brady for the best quarterback in the league right now. If we are going off all quarterback stats, PFF aside, I'm not denying that. I really need to reassess the quarterback rankings and see where I would put Joe Burrow. He's top 10 for sure. Is he top 5? I don't know. I don't think he's top 5, but probably 7. And I'm saying that just because you got your Patrick Mahomes, your Aaron Rodgers, your Josh Allen. Would you put Justin Herbert ahead of him? Right now, the recency bias of Burrow being in the playoffs. But again, if Justin Herbert had T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd and Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon.
Or stop going for it on fourth down at your own 20.
Yeah.
That's a coach thing.
Dayton Flyer. I'm just saying, but yeah. So it is what it is. 518-1410, by the way. 518-1410. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. And, of course, we got Tim's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Mark Smith says, I'm just not ready to crown him the greatest yet. However, when we win tomorrow, then Kinner will have some more crow to digest. What if they win tomorrow? So what? I have Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. I hope you can throw Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. I'm just saying, Mark Smith, bring it. Bring it. Josh Maloney, if the Bengals win tomorrow, what are you going to do with your hair, Justin?
I think orange would look good on you.
I'm going to get up in my shower. I'm going to wash it, get out, do my little comb over, my little, old guy haircut, and come back to work on Monday and find a way to discredit the win and just go on with my petty all week. I mean, you know how Kidder operates.
Come on, Meg Rapinoe.
No, I'm not doing that again. Go Browns. Browns. I mean, the Browns own the Bengals. Just saying. So the Browns, if the Bengals win the Super Bowl, the Browns should get a piece of it.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, I'm just saying they own the team that won the Super Bowl at that point, right? I'm just saying. The Browns taught Joe Burrow and the Bengals a lesson this year. You know, they had to give him a little bit a humble pie. I think they honestly owe the Browns a thank you for kicking their ass so bad, just to put them in check, remind them they're not as good as they thought. They had to reassess themselves. They had to come together, work harder, try to get on the Browns level, and now look where they're at. Congratulations.
All thanks to the Browns.
And, it's not the Browns' fault that the NFL, rigged it and had them test positive for COVID and let the Bengals just go all the way through without any significant COVID outbreaks, even though they play in the same state. Just saying.
Definitely different counties.
Yeah. All right, folks, 518-1410. We're glad to be back on Facebook. We are glad to be back on YouTube. And you can head to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show, be a part of the conversation there, of course. Mike Haywood on Facebook says, I'm ready for my 49ers to run over the Packers tomorrow night. Let's see what else we got. Mark Smith again. Dak got beat, but the playoffs don't matter for that award. What award am I talking about?
I think the rankings, I think he's talking about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we talked about that, again, the Pro Football, for those watching on Facebook, YouTube, here's the one more time, the Pro Football Focus quarterback rankings heading into the season. Baker Mayfield at number 10. I still think Baker Mayfield would be right there had he been healthy, to be honest. Outside of that, I mean, I don't know. Everyone in the top, actually, I lied. Baker would move back because a lot of guys would move in. Where's Justin Herbert on this?
Where's 15?
Yeah, see, Justin Herbert would move into the top 10. Joe Burrow would definitely move into the top 10. I think, Matt Ryan would come out.
Obviously.
I think Matthew Stafford's in. So I think three new guys. I mean, I guess if three moved in, three have to move out. Matt Ryan comes out. Baker Mayfield comes out.
Deshaun should come out.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean,
I can't have a dude on the list that didn't play. Like, when they came out with this, it was still a question mark if he was going to play. Well,
then
he
Lamar's coming out then. He didn't play half the year.
Your good old hateful Lamar.
Dak struggled down the stretch. I think he would be at 9 or 10. I think he would kind of drop a bit. But interesting nonetheless. All right, more of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash when we come back.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Get help managing your money for the life and years ahead. With Fidelity Income Planning, we'll look at what you've saved, what you'll need, and build a straightforward plan to generate income, even when you're not working. A plan that gives you the chance to grow your savings and create cash flow that lasts. Plus, you can start, stop, or adjust your plan at any time without the unnecessary fees. Talk to us today so we can help you go from saving to living. Fidelity Brokerage Services, number NYSE SIPC.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer WetJet. With Swiffer WetJet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer WetJet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
It's football season again, which means it's football season again. And here at Frank's Red Hot, we put together a completely exhaustive list of essentials that will bring everyone together on game day. Essential number 1, Frank's Red Hot. I mean, come on, people, that was a given. Number 2, wings. Like, just so many wings. Okay, it looks like that's it. There's not even a third thing on the page. Do I just say the first two essentials again, or is that weird? Nope, just Franks and wings? Okay, that's okay, yeah. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
When others treat your fries as an afterthought, all you're left with are cold, soggy fries. That's why Wendy's new fries are ones you won't forget, guaranteed to be hot and crispy, or we'll replace them. We're talking natural cut, skin-on fries, perfectly seasoned with a hint of sea salt. In fact, they're even preferred almost 2-to-1 over McDonald's. These are fries so hot and crispy, they beg a new question.
What would you like with your fries?
Try them today, only at Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, taste preference based on a national taste test by an independent research company.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzzed driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says I'm a catch more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You and your phone have been through a lot this past year. It's been your lifeline to the world. And now some big wireless company is telling you got to buy a new phone from them and sign their contract? They don't control you. With TracFone Wireless, you can keep the phone, number, and network you already have. Already got a 5G phone? Keep that too. Because TracFone runs on America's best networks now with 5G nationwide. Plus, we've got unlimited talk and text smartphone plans starting at just $20. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. 5G nationwide access requires a 5G capable device. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Yes, Miss Tubbs. No problem. I'll call someone about the plumbing.
One of Beatrice's properties needs a new superintendent.
Custodial team is not
someone with handyman superpowers and a concierge alter ego.
Does anyone know any good electricians near Parkville?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Come rain or shine, high winds or mild breezes, blue skies or gray, it's a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
The Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
If you're looking to buy or sell your home, give Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty a call today, 937-572-7425, or shoot him an email, bradmaysre@gmail.com. Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty, sponsor of the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Shout out to our other sponsors as well, Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. We welcome you back. We're live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube, and we opened up the show talking a little Pro Football Focus quarterback rankings coming into the season. Earlier in the week, Kevin and I, we talked about, we ranked of the 8 quarterbacks remaining in the NFL. We ranked our top 5 of the 8 quarterbacks remaining in the playoffs. And then we also ranked our top 5 who did not qualify for the playoffs this year. And we'll dive more into that coming up later on this week. A lot of big playoff matchups this weekend, Kev. The Bengals and the Titans, of course, 4:30. That's the early time slot. That's where they put the JV game. And then the varsity game. What? I mean, it was. The Niners and the Packers Saturday night at 8:15. And then on Sunday, you get the Rams and the Bucks, and then the Chiefs and the Bills, or as I said earlier in the week, everyone else, it's Bengals, Titans, it's Niners, Packers, it's of course the Rams and the Bucks. But for the Bills and the Chiefs, it's Patrick Mahomes against Josh Allen. But the AFC quarterback scene, Kev, is just every year come playoff time, you're going to get one hell of a quarterback versus quarterback matchup. I mean, you're already seeing it with Josh Allen against Patrick Mahomes. You could potentially see Joe Burrow against Josh Allen or Joe Burrow against Patrick Mahomes in the AFC title game. But that's going to be every year moving forward. Justin Herbert eventually is going to get back into the swing of things. Deshaun Watson, when he becomes a Steeler, will get into the swing of things probably. Lamar Jackson.
Why is that a thing? Why is everybody saying Deshaun Watson to the Steelers?
I saw some quote box the other day that said he would love to play for Pittsburgh or whatever, but I think it was a fake one. Like, there's no way that he's not commenting on anything right now, and if he is, he shouldn't be. But would Pittsburgh want? I mean, I think you do. I think you would take Deshaun Watson. Let's say it's breaking news: the Steelers, the black and yellow, get Deshaun Watson. Your reaction will be what? Bengals would be so pissed because finally they think they have the best quarterback in the division. Nope.
How long is he suspended? Are we going to get the offensive line fixed?
Let me ask you this. From a Steelers fan perspective, let's say that the Steelers know that Deshaun Watson still has probably another year of legality battles. You have Dwayne Haskins, you have Mason Rudolph.
Right.
You went 8-8 with Mason Rudolph a few years ago. Very similar, pretty much the same defense. Upgraded at running back technically with Najee Harris. Ran for 1,200 yards this year. Now, again, we saw, James Conner run he was 1,000-yard back with Pittsburgh, where they impact yards. I mean, we'll talk about that more later. But let me ask you from a Steelers fan perspective, and this really goes for any team out there. I mean, I could even ask it as a Browns fan. Let's say that Houston's willing to take less to move on from Deshaun Watson to get some immediate draft picks this year. If you're a team like the Browns or you're a team like the Steelers, knowing that a lot of this stuff is being worked on, being settled out of court.
Right.
And I'm not trying to be insensitive to what's actually being fought here in court. But at the same time, he's going to play again. He's going to play for somebody. So, do you want to be the team that takes the moral high ground on this and says, there's no way I want him playing for me, and then he ends up being in your division, beating you down the road? If you're a team like the Browns or if you're a team like the Steelers, do you find a way to trade for him? If you're the Steelers, you trade for him, you give up assets, and you just basically eat 2022 with Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins and setting up having Deshaun Watson as your quarterback starting in 2023.
Nothing more than a third-round pick. Nothing more than a third-round pick, because you went third round and fourth round this year with offensive linemen, and they started on your offensive line, and they were god-awful. So obviously there's way more talented guys in the first 2 rounds in the offensive line where you desperately need help. So if you give up those first or second round draft picks for him, so you're negating this year, and then you're also be negating the years that he'll ever be on the team, because the guys won't be any better. So I wouldn't give up anything more than a third round pick for Deshaun, because also you got to think about his salary. I mean, he's a highly paid quarterback. So not only are you going to be giving up draft picks for him to potentially come to you, and God knows when he's going to be able to play, you give up the draft pick, then you're going to have to pay him as well. So all that is going to be going to your salary cap as well. So you're not going to have as much flexibility money-wise either.
And by the way, for those on Facebook and YouTube, if your team, and Bengals fans, a lot of you are in the chat, so I don't expect you to chime in on this too much. But if I'm the Steelers, I do it. You're not winning the Super Bowl next year anyways. At least that's constructed right now. And what I mean by that is you have a good defense. I like Juju. I like Claypool. I think they're both head cases. They're not at Antonio Brown level, but they're pretty out there. But they have a coach to kind of keep them in check. I think you could have players like that are going to have outbursts from time to time. But what I've liked about Mike Tomlin is that he's been able to kind of reel them back in. You'll see Juju Smith-Schuster have his weird, he's a distraction at times, but then Mike Tomlin kind of reels him back in his lane a little bit. And then there's not an internal argument between coaches and players, maybe at practice, but nothing has led to the demise of the team like we saw with Antonio Brown years ago. Same thing with Claypool. Claypool's very mouthy. He kind of gets out in the media a little bit too much more than you'd like. And Mike Tomlin, you saw him kind of bump him on the nose a little bit this year and kind of put him back in the shell a little bit. And then we didn't hear from Claypool really the rest of the year. And that's including during the run into the postseason when you think he would be even more cocky. But my point is,
he actually made some plays.
You have weapons. You bring in Deshaun. Yeah, you're going to weaken your team from a draft capital standpoint. But if you bring in Deshaun and you have Deshaun Watson, you have Chase Claypool, probably won't have Juju. You may not even have Juju next year. I think you just signed him to a one-year deal. But you're going to have Najee Harris. You're going to have Chase Claypool. You'll probably have another weapon or two out there that you could be able to get on the offensive side. I mean, they have Washington and some others, so they'll be okay. And then on defense, they're fine. It would be a short window, but you're getting Deshaun Watson for a short window. I mean, he's not as young as you think. He just signed that big deal, but we're talking 2 years from now. I don't know if he plays again next year. And even if he's signed and cleared, he's going to be suspended for a little bit of time.
Exactly.
So my point is, if I'm the Steelers, you're not winning a Super Bowl with Mason Rudolph, and you're not winning a Super Bowl with Dwayne Haskins. So I eat next year by finding a way to get Deshaun Watson on your roster. Even if it's first rounders for next year. As long as you have first rounders heading into the next year's draft with Deshaun, I'm fine with it. If I'm the Steelers, I kick the tires on that. I think that they can afford to eat a year, because if you draft Matt Corral in the draft, you're still not winning right away with him anyway. So next year, I'm not saying you give up, because we've seen Mike Tomlin coach this team through a year that I also considered a throwaway year, and they won 9 and in the playoffs. So that's why if I'm the Steelers, I kick the tires on it, just because you could try to do it the right way by drafting a rookie quarterback, or trying to, have a healthy quarterback competition between Dwayne Haskins and, Mason Rudolph. But I think we all know that Steelers want to get back in that Super Bowl conversation. And honestly, start at the quarterback and then let the rest fall into place from there, figure it out later. But even if you have all these draft picks and you have Mason Rudolph as your quarterback, what does that do for you? I'd rather have Deshaun Watson with less draft capital and hope that things fall in the right place, especially in that division, which is so unpredictable.
Deshaun is a great quarterback, and God knows when this whole case is going to be settled. So if it's settled, let's just say, for instance, it's settled this summer, he's still going to be suspended at least 6 games. So if I knew going into it, all right, this case is going to be settled this summer, he's going to be suspended 6 games. Okay, we can talk. We can work something out. But I can't go into it not knowing that this case isn't going to be settled, because I can handle the suspension, but I can't handle the case. The case is an animal all onto itself. That is bad publicity. That is, we don't know what's going to happen. And then depending on the outcome of the case, that depends on how long the NFL is going to suspend them. The NFL could be like, yeah, you're out for an entire year. The speculation is oh, well, they gave Ben 6 games and reduced it to 4. Well, that was 10 years ago. The climate of the country has changed. So, yeah. So that unknown right there versus all right, man, yeah, you're a great quarterback, but shoot. And what about the Pittsburgh Steelers over the last 2 decades said, we're going to mail it in? Nothing. They're stubborn, sometimes maybe to a fault, to say, nope, I don't care. We're still trying to win. We're going to go out here and win games with Duck Hodges. I don't care. We're going to win. I don't care. Go out there and make some plays. I don't care. Oh, we made it to playoffs. Ha, ha, ha. We lost in the first round, but we made the playoffs. That's the rallying call. That's the rallying call.
Possibly, but I will say, used to play in a division that, the Bengals had Andy Dalton, the Browns are the Browns, and the Ravens had Joe Flacco. So that urgency in years past of if our quarterback's down and injured, we don't have to go get someone good, because the ceiling of talent, Big Ben was always the best quarterback in that division. Joe Burrow could be why the Steelers start to act a little differently.
Could be.
When it comes to the urgency of addressing the quarterback. In the past, let's say Big Ben retired 5 years ago. In the past, We don't have to be, we're not desperate to go get a legitimate quarterback when we have Joe Flacco, Andy Dalton, and whatever quarterback of the month it is for the Cleveland Browns at that time. But now, I mean, if Baker Mayfield's the worst quarterback in the AFC North, that's still a problem for the Pittsburgh Steelers because that's still a good quality quarterback right there. I'm sorry, Mason Rudolph I'll take Baker over Mason any day. And I think Steelers fans would quietly, secretly tell you that in the background. I almost wonder Joe Burrow could be why the Steelers, in Lamar Jackson. Yeah. You have a division. I mean, this isn't Joe Flacco and Andy Dalton. This is Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. That's why I don't see the Steelers kind of sitting on their hands a little bit and trying to do it the old school Pittsburgh Steeler right way. Plus, if I'm Mike Tomlin, you've been around a long dang time and you're used to having Big Ben Roethlisberger. It's one thing to sit on Mason Rudolph for a year, but to go into battle every single week knowing that that's your guy, I just wonder if that's not going to be the case this time. Plus, I know you say how Pittsburgh is when it comes to their approach to this thing, but at the same time, how often do they get put in this situation long-term anyways? I mean, but they're a good quality franchise that drafts well, that they scout well. So
I mean, like I said, I'm old enough to remember like Neil O'Donnell being a quarterback, and even though Neil O'Donnell guided them to the Super Bowl versus the Dallas Cowboys, and he threw 2 interceptions in that Super Bowl to Brown, which basically lost the game for the Pittsburgh Steelers and everything like that. The Pittsburgh Steelers let him walk to the New York Jets. And then, there was a gap between that time where the quarterback play was, and then Ben came along. They had Cordell Stewart there. Who else was there? Was it Tom Zach was in there for a hot second as well? So, yeah, they had some lean years with the quarterback position. I think it's just like
Tommy Maddox.
Yeah, Tommy Maddox. Like these 18 years of Ben Roethlisberger, like it just, all right, now what? And they just don't have a now what plan. Well, I'm sure they have a plan, but some people are going to agree with it. Some people aren't. But I am a firm believer that, okay, last year in the draft, in the second round, it came down to them drafting Creed Humphrey or Freiermuth, the tight end out of Penn State. Freiermuth had a great season as a rookie, but Creed Humphrey is an all-pro as a rookie, center for the Chiefs. I like Freiermuth. I'm glad he's on the Pittsburgh Steelers. But when I see a dude like Creed Humphrey balling out in the NFL and with Patrick Mahomes on the Kansas City Chiefs, all I can think about was like, man, that's the anchor of an offensive line. That's the anchor of offensive line. So you weren't able to trade up to grab him. So you go ahead and grab Kendrick Green, the center out of Illinois, and he was garbage. It was garbage. So they had to use a swing man at center the back end of the season to sneak into the playoffs. So in my eyes, fix that offensive line, because the guys that are in the draft, these guys, they might be, I could be way off, but these aren't Trevor Lawrence. These aren't Justin Fields. They're good quarterbacks and they might become great, but offensive line, center, tackle, guard, get quality offensive linemen, and then you'll be able to do something. Because without them, Deshaun Watson will be running for his life too, even though he's like super athletic.
But he had a bad offensive line in Houston and was putting up numbers. By the way, you want a great offensive line in Mason Rudolph, or do you want an average offensive line with Deshaun Watson? By the way, I don't care how much
their offensive line ain't average now. I'll be happy if we get the average.
You could get quality offensive linemen in the 4th, 5th, and 6th round. Those are your words, not mine. Hey, listen,
for sure.
You can't. I just don't see. I don't care how patient the Steelers organization thinks that they are. You're not going to take a chance with Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins for more than one season, or Matt Corral or whoever, in a division that has Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. I just don't see that happening. And I just don't see the Steelers basically signing up to have the worst quarterback in the AFC North for more than one season, because that's really what it would be. Browns haters, I'm sorry. I think you would even admit Baker's the 3rd best quarterback in that division as it stands right now, unless the Steelers make a move.
What a mighty fall for good old Bakey.
Hey, if you're behind and Lamar Jackson still, I mean, I'm just saying.
He wins games, right? He wins games.
Well, so does Garoppolo, and you don't give him any credit.
That's what I was saying about you. Love Garoppolo.
I do love Garoppolo.
Love him. I love his off-the-field antics. Shouts out to Jimmy G.
Porn star Jimmy. 518-1410. We'll be back.
Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless. Now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Get in zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Ready for an oil change? We can help get the right protection at the right price. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Daily Protection or Valvoline Max Life High Mileage Motor Oil with an STP oil filter for just $28.99. Visit one of our 6,000 stores or order from AutoZone.com for same-day store pickup or next-day delivery. Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Progressive Snapshot can save you money based on how you drive and how much you drive. So the safer you drive, the more money you could save. Now, if you didn't hear that because you were looking at your phone while driving, let me say it again. Seriously, put down your phone. That is so unsafe. If you didn't do stuff like use your phone while driving, you could save money with Progressive Snapshot. But saving or not, just put it down. And if you did hear it the first time because you weren't looking at your phone, nice work. You'd love Snapshot from Progressive because it rewards safe drivers. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California and North Carolina or from all agents.
I know you've been waiting a little bit longer than normal.
Jen's manicure spot needs an extra pair of hands.
Who's at the front desk right now?
Someone who's handy with everything from nail files to spreadsheet files.
Deidre's not coming in today, but we have that whole bachelorette party.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Service Manager at Germain Honda Beaver Creek, recipient of Honda's President's Award. When your vehicle needs service, we make it convenient. Open 6 days a week, including all day Saturday. We also welcome same-day appointments and walk-ins as well. Our technicians are factory trained, and we offer a new state-of-the-art facility, clean waiting rooms, loaner cars, and free alignment checks as well. Ask for the $99.95 alignment special. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, Route 35, just east of 675. Between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
Deep breaths.
Mai's virtual meditation studio has never been busier.
Imagine not working.
They need a remote assistant to realign their scheduling.
Blank calendar. Sorry. Back to your breath.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Make calls, schedule virtual interviews, and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Get your biggest refund guaranteed. Jackson Hewitt Tax Pros will help find thousands worth of new tax credits so you get every dollar you deserve. Learn more at jacksonhewitt.com.
Football fans, the Sunday Morning Tailgate Show is officially back. Every Sunday morning starting at 11:30 a.m. College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byers and Justin Kinner will be live at Frickers on 741 by the Dayton Mall. The guys will recap the biggest games from college football Saturday, including your Ohio State Buckeyes. The guys will also get you set up for the day's biggest NFL matchups, featuring your Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals, and more. It's the Sunday Morning Tailgate Show, live from Frickers on 741. Sunday mornings at 11:30 on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, we are back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here. Titans, Bengals this Saturday. Tomorrow night. Holy smokes, it's Friday.
Yes, sir.
This week flew by. Tennessee Titans running back Derrick Henry to be activated. Expected to start against the Cincinnati Bengals tomorrow night. They will activate Derrick Henry for their AFC divisional round playoff game against the Bengals on Saturday night. He is expected to start, Kev, and when the offense takes the field, he is expected to take first team snaps. The team does have until 4 p.m. this afternoon. Here in 7 minutes, I guess. They have until 4 p.m. Eastern on Friday to make the move official. Mike Vrabel former Buckeye Titans head coach, wanted to see how Henry would respond. This damn mic, stay still.
Hey, gentle, man. Gentle. You know what happened after the show yesterday.
What happened? Yeah, the thing just broke. It just collapsed. But nonetheless, this will be interesting for the Titans, because when this news hit earlier in the year, when this injury happened, this was supposed to be a season-ending injury.
Yet another guy coming back from a season-ending injury.
A couple season-ending injury. Maybe we should just start calling these regular season-ending injuries, because there's a couple guys that we had deemed as having season-ending injuries, and yet here they are prepping for the playoffs this weekend. But obviously, this is all you put all your blood, sweat, and tears into your career for moments like this, for these types of games, and yet here they are. Battling for a spot to get to the AFC championship game. The Titans, they're not a stranger to this under Vrabel, but they're looking to kind of get back. But, the Titans are interesting. The Titans are a more consistent Cleveland Browns team just because they have, an average capable quarterback that's really carried by the run game. But the Titans have the potential to be an aired out team too when you have Derrick Henry and Julio Jones and why am I just AJ Brown. Holy smokes. But yes, so that's what I find interesting about the Titans heading into this. I have no clue. One moment I feel like the Bengals are going to win, and then the next I'm just like, there's just something about the Titans. Everyone's picking the Titans. That's not why I'm going to pick the Titans, but it's the most interesting, as I've said all week, because of the fact it's not two passing teams going ahead. It's not the Chiefs and the Bills where you're going to have to outduel the other one. If the Bengals have to play the Chiefs or the Bills in the AFC title game, it's going to have to come down to, can Joe Burrow outperform Patrick Mahomes again like he did final game or towards the end of the regular season? Can he outperform Josh Allen? That's really what that matchup would come down to. That's not what this matchup comes down to. Like, this is one of those where, the run game could dictate the tempo for the Titans and take the Bengals out of their rhythm, or Joe Burrow and that explosive offense could come out firing, put points up on the board quickly, and then it kind of forces Tennessee to start trying to make bigger plays and not rely on Derrick Henry as much. I think that first quarter, I think the winner will be dictated based on how the game starts in that first quarter. If the Bengals jump out to a quick lead and they're able to dictate tempo by forcing Tennessee to have to drop back and pass and try to get back in the game, I think Cincinnati's in good shape. But if the offense comes out sputtering a bit like they did against the Raiders in the second half, and Derrick Henry, you're able to get him in a rhythm, and they're able to establish the run game and establish tempo, and they control the clock, then I think the Bengals are in trouble. But honestly, I think it's whoever comes out the hottest offensively on tomorrow night, I should say, that'll determine who comes away the winner tomorrow night.
One thing for the Cincinnati Bengals to keep an eye on is Ryan Tannehill. We got to remember, he used to be a wide receiver in college. Yeah, he's been in the league for quite a while. His tenure with the Dolphins didn't turn out well. He resurrected his career with the Titans and everything like that, but he can still move. And normally the Titans pull out that zone read inside the red zone because he can still move and everything like that. I would be very weary of his legs in this game. I would be very alert about his legs in this game.
If he was normal, I'd say, yeah. He's a robot. They just had him stuffed back in the garage, plugged in, charging him up.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, he's a freak, man.
Like, I'm thinking, like, they really didn't do any of that this year outside the red zone. Like, when he first got to Tennessee, they used his legs a lot because, he was transitioning to take over for Mariota. So the kind of that stuff was already in their offense. So he was still doing it and everything like that.
Derrick Henry, my bad.
So I'm thinking that they're going to pull that type of stuff out because they haven't pulled it out all season long. And what is everybody thinking? Oh, Derrick Henry's back in the game. They're going to feed King Henry. Perfect opportunity he's got it. No, he don't. I got it. I'm around the end for a 15-yard gain or something like that. I will be very worried about his legs in this game on the Cincinnati Bengals. Another thing I will be worried about, we kind of touched on it yesterday, the front four of the Titans with Bud Dupree and Harold Landry and the rest of those guys up there, they get pressure with four dudes. That's alarming, man, when you don't have to blitz and get pressure on the quarterback. So be on the lookout for some bubble screens from Chase. That's something that they did a ton at LSU. And, something that I kind of saw from the Cincinnati Bengals when Chase had like the dip this season, and started using bunch sets. Started, all right, we're going to put 3 receivers together. So, all right, you can run tight man coverage all you want, but we're going to run bunch sets. So to confuse you guys, to make sure you get mixed up in coverage and potentially get him wide open. And he's a beast in the open field. So bunch sets for the Cincinnati Bengals to get off of that press man coverage that the Titans like to run, and be very aware of Ryan Tannehill using his legs.
So talking about Ryan Tannehill using his legs, the one thing I would kind of like to see Cincinnati do more of, and we saw a couple of these play calls over the weekend with Jamar Chase, but I like Jamar Chase in comparison to Deebo Samuel. Like they have a similar build and they have a similar burst.
They're running backs. They're running backs that play wide receiver.
And I think that, and I don't want, Jamar getting the ball too much in the backfield and going for them, but I think that you could, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bengals fans, but I saw more of those sweep type plays. I saw more of those Deebo Samuel type plays for Jamar Chase this past weekend against the Raiders than at any point throughout the season. And I think those are some of the tricks that the Bengals have up their sleeve to kind of utilize him in different ways. But I watched the way the Niners use Deebo. I think you're going to see the Bengals start to use, I think Jamar Chase, especially in these high leverage in these big moment games and these big situations. And every game's big now moving forward. Yeah. But I think you're going to start to see them use him in different ways than what they've used him all season. But the Titans, and then we talked about this yesterday, that you would think that a quarterback that's been sacked 50 plus times, in Joe Burrow with a bad offensive line, you would think that this is a great situation for the Bengals going up against a team that's one of the worst pass rushing teams in the NFL. It's like, okay, good. We've always said, man, if Joe Burrow just has time to throw, if Joe Burrow could just sit in that pocket and be comfortable, imagine how much, look how good he is with pressure in his face. Look how good he is with being sacked 50 plus times this year. Imagine what the cat could do if he had time to throw, if he didn't have someone in his face the whole time. Well, everyone knows how much I love analytics. The analytics tell a different story, Kev. The Titans, they have blitzed 18% this season, which is the second least in the NFL. We touched on this yesterday.
Who's there last then? Niners?
It doesn't have that on you. I'm just reading a tweet, Kev. I don't know. I don't know. These are stats.
I'm sorry, man. I like to dig deep.
They've blitzed 18% of the season, which is the second least in the NFL. They've gotten 35 sacks, which is actually the second most using 4-man pressures. So rushing 4 and dropping 7 in coverage will be critical this week against the Bengals, of course, because the Bengals, as good as Joe Mixon is, the biggest threats on the Bengals' offensive side of the ball is the weapons they have down the field. So the next part of this tweet, that was from, Teron Davenport with the NFL Network, goes on to say that Joe Burrow's QBR, how about this for everyone out there, this is why he's the perfect quarterback for the Bengals. This is why the Bengals should not ever improve this offensive line, because the more time he has to throw, the worse he is. When you protect him, he's worse. Joe Burrow's QBR drops 35% when not blitzed. It drops by 34.6 when not blitzed. Like, that's insane to me. Like this, I think that number is being like too much is being made of it, but that's a large number. 35%. That's a big number, Kev.
Yeah.
To drop by 35 points like that, your QBR rating, when you're not facing pressure, like, to me, what that says is, and this is still room to grow, it's not just about not being sacked, but it's, I think he struggles, when there's not open receivers, he's not as effective. Now, you could say that about any quarterback. But we talk about the brilliance of an Aaron Rodgers and a Patrick Mahomes to take non-open wide receivers and still make plays. Joe Burrow's not there yet. So if the Titans take away the open receiver, if they take away these open angles, that's when Joe Burrow becomes less effective. And I think it's not going to be a matter of, we heard last week against the Raiders, man, if they could just get, to Burrow, the Raiders should have a chance to win this game. Well, this week it's opposite. And that's what I find fascinating about this matchup. Everything is different about this Titans team, and that's what I find fascinating about them.
It's crazy, man. You touched on it about those jet sweeps and motion and chase into the backfield and everything like that. Let's not forget, man, a lot of decoy.
Josh Maloney said it was the Raiders. Are you sure, Josh? The Raiders? That's a hell of a pass rush. The Raiders have the least sacks in the NFL?
Blitz.
Oh, the blitz. Okay, my fault. See, Kenner's always wrong. That's why we should just learn to go to Kev. Is something broke, Kev? Is something, should we? Yeah. There we Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We'll pause for 10 seconds for station identification.
We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio.
Why the Christmas beat again?
Ho, ho, ho.
Let's see this one. This one might be another Christmas beat. Yeah. We're going with it. Christmas in January is what it is. I meant to click that. We're good to go. 518-1410. 518-1410 is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. In fact, if you're looking to buy or sell your home, give Brad Mays a call today, 937-572-7425, or give him or shoot him an email, bradmaysre@gmail.com. Shout out to Brad Mays again with Home Experts Realty. We're back live on Facebook, back live on YouTube today.
Hey, hey, hey.
You went from ho, ho, ho to hey, hey, hey. So is what this Titans matchup for the Bengals. Cannot wait tomorrow night. Back in the JV slots. Maybe if they, the good news is they'll be in maybe they'll be the first game. Maybe for the Bengals to be in prime time in the actual good spot, they're going to have to get to the Super Bowl.
Oh goodness, Kenner.
I didn't schedule the games. People get mad at me for pointing it out. Let's just be honest. Maybe, just maybe, he's not as much of a draw as everyone thinks he is. If he was, he'd be in the primetime spot. I'm just saying.
Well, there's better known
a few
commodities.
weeks ago, they wanted Patrick Mahomes against some bad team in the primetime spot. Like, that's how they'd rather watch a good team face a bad team than two good teams that one week, that Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Everyone was hoping they'd be flexed into the nope, not going to happen. Not going to happen. 518-1410. What up, Mark?
Hey, man, we got to talk about this. Kenner's
Let's talk about it. Let's talk. I'm not flip. It's not that I'm flip-flopping. The information has changed. I've thought about it. I've realized that your team's not as good as what I said last week.
Yesterday.
Hey, I changed my mind. It's America. I can do what I want.
All right, you guys are pointing this out. Now, we went with the Raiders used 4 linemen to rush Burrow last week. He still got the job done.
How about the second half? McPherson got the job done.
Yeah, I mean, that's a weapon we need. I think any team would need a weapon like that. Would you agree?
I agree with you, but I'm just saying, like, while Josh Allen's dominating the Patriots, while Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers never won, doing their thing all season long, and in the postseason, Aaron Rodgers didn't play last week because he's the 1 seed, of course. But I'm just saying, the good quarterbacks take care. They don't need to rely on their kickers against bad teams.
Hey, all I'm saying is, I mean, you guys are talking about, the Titans don't blitz. The Raiders, they don't blitz either. Like I said, I mean, they ran pretty much the same defense we're going to see them all night.
True.
I mean, and I love the Deebo Samuel comparison.
I really do. They ran a couple plays against the Raiders where they kind of used him differently than I. And again, I don't recall them using him like that throughout the regular season. Maybe they did a couple occasions. I just can't recall, but they did that a couple times against the Raiders, and I think that they're going to have to pull stuff out like that against the Titans to kind of go with a different look from time to time.
It's the same exact play the 49ers used with Samuels.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the same play.
Samuel's a little bigger too, man. Like, both are big receivers, though. But like Kev said, they're running backs at wide receiver right now.
Basically, dude, them dudes are enormous, man.
Sunday, I'm hoping to bring you a pair of glasses to Prickers.
You bring the glasses, I'll wear them. Are they those stupid Joe Burrow glasses?
Win, I'm coming.
No. I'll tell you what. Sir. If the Bengals win, you bring those sunglasses on Sunday. I'll wear those stupid sunglasses. What else did he wear this year that everyone went out and bought? You guys, it's like a cult, man. You guys are like, if Joe Burrow wears stupid sunglasses, I'm going to wear stupid sunglasses. But hey, blind faith, I tell you.
Hey, man, let's get a who day. I just want to win tomorrow.
I'll give you a who day. I'm not against the Bengals here. Like, it's good for the show when they're winning. It's an extra week of something to talk about, right? Because I hate the NFL playoffs. It's bittersweet, man. It's like, man, it's like what you build up for all year, and then it's just a reminder that, oh, crap, the season's almost done. So, yeah.
Yep. Hey, I love listening to you guys, man. Facebook, I like messing around with people, having a good time. Y'all have a great day.
All right. Adios. I should have asked him his score prediction. Mark, you're on Facebook. So you obviously you're going to pick your team to win, but by how much?
Mark.
By the way, you can't brag and be comfortable about, well, the Raiders ran the same defense last week that the Titans are going to run. And how bad did he look in the second half? He didn't look horrible, but it's all about putting points up on the board.
True.
You put 6. And not even a touchdown.
Mark, he watches on Facebook and everything like that. And yesterday he called in. He was talking about him and Shaw. He hasn't been able to talk to Shaw for the last couple of days because of our technical issues. I wonder how they're conversing on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, I forgot those two. Yeah, Shaw said, welcome back a little bit. And Shaw, you found a way. We weren't live on Facebook and YouTube for the past week, and Shaw still found a way to annoy me. So earlier in the week, we said, good news, we'll have the video feed back up the next day. Well, just like, at any moment, technical issues can happen. More technology means more doors are open for tech issues. And everyone's like, oh, man, I'm bummed you guys aren't on today. Bummed this. And Shaw has to go, oh, I thought you guys were going to be on today. So much for that. I'm like, Shaw, you think I'm not pissed off that the video feed wasn't working? I was like, now I'm glad because I don't have to deal with you today, Shaw.
But we're back now.
But we're back. 518-1410. Jake Whiting. He says, it is a cult, and I'm the leader. I told you how Burrow was the savior. You can't be a Bengals cult leader when you're an Eagles fan, Jake. I'm strict on the rules of fandom. You can only have one team. Will on Facebook says, I just hope Burrow doesn't do commercials living in the stadium with his fashion attire.
Oh, goodness.
Well, then he would be copying Baker Mayfield, So I'm just saying, you don't want to. And by the way, have you ever thought about that Joe Burrow, everyone's like, see, Joe Burrow, he doesn't do commercials because he's too focused on winning. Well, based on the slotting of these teams come playoff time for these media rights deals, no one, I don't think commercials want him. I don't think he's marketable, Kev.
I think we're going to see a lot of them next season.
The fact that, Baker's so bad, but yet he's all over every commercial, and Joe Burrow's so good, he's not on any commercial. But your guys' ego just makes it sound like, oh, he's turning him down. Who says he's turning him down? Maybe they just don't want him. That's like, I guarantee you, these Bengals fans, if you go back to the Buckeye run for Joe Burrow didn't win the starting job. Joe Burrow won the starting job. He was being nice to his teammates. He let JT Barrett start. He let Dwayne Haskins win because he felt bad for him. That's the Bengals fan mentality. When it
True
comes
leader.
To
True leader right there. True leader, that Joe Burrow.
Ryan Strong says, I blame Baker for the technical difficulties. I blame Baker for everything. That's the hip thing to do now here in 2022. COVID, blame Baker. Everything's Baker's fault. It is what it is. Randy says, hopefully it won't be long after the Super Bowl. We'll have baseball with the Players Union counter-offering on Monday. Oh, Randy trying to switch it up. He's calling an audible.
Don't hold your breath.
I was going to say, we've seen this recently when it came, when COVID first hit in early 2020. That was just a preview of what we were going to expect when it comes to fighting this year. Like we all thought, we're all assuming that, oh man, they have to get something done soon. Spring training starts in technically a month. Technically a little over a month. It's going to get into March. So it's about to be next month, February. Yeah. Spring training is just around the corner. It's not starting on time.
No.
And by the way, I'm wrong a lot, and I hope I'm wrong this time. I don't trust that anything's going to happen in this. They haven't even started to carve anything out at all in these negotiations. I just don't feel like they're close at all. I think it's going to have to take deep into spring training to start to feel the pressure. Miss opening day to really feel the pressure. I don't think this starts on time. I don't know. I just think that the gap between both sides is larger than it has ever been throughout any time before. And it's always been bad in the past. It just seems worse now.
Since we're so inundated with the playoffs and everything like that and a little bit of NBA talk and everything like that, but, are they talking at all? Are they even just talking? Because, putting things pen to paper is another thing, but at least communicating to try to work towards working something. I don't even think they're doing that. We haven't seen Buster Olney since the World Series. You know what I'm saying? There are very little updates about this. And the commissioner, when these work stoppages happen, this is a stain on you because you're the commissioner. People aren't going to look at the players and the owners and everything like that. They're going to look at the guy in charge of the whole ship. So, Manford, this is on you, bruh. You got to get this fixed.
But hey, I wasn't done talking smack about Joe.
Go ahead.
We'll get into baseball coming up. I actually have a Marty Brenneman story for you guys coming up here around the corner. 518-1410, Bengals Titans tomorrow night. I know you Bengals fans are picking your Bengals, but I want to hear why. Why are you confident that you're going to beat the 1 seed? Bengals fans, I need to understand. You can't just say because I'm a Bengals fan, I'm picking that. I need to know what makes the Titans so bad that they can lose to the Cincinnati Bengals. Who, according to Caesar Sportsbook, is the worst team remaining in the playoff. Not my opinion, Caesar Sportsbook. Let's go to Nick. Nick, how are you, sir?
Pretty good, man. I'm a huge Bengals fan, and on my way home from work, I had a guy come up to me before I left. He said, what do you think the score is going to be tomorrow? I said, the score is going to be 24-19 Titans.
Oh, you're a Bengals fan, and you're a Bengals fan, and you're picking the Titans.
I have looked into this game so much over the last week. I don't even know if I want to watch it.
Whoa, you sound like David Shaw.
Did I hear him right?
I'm just sick of looking at it.
What? This is a prank call.
Trust me.
This is a prank call. I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
No, I like this Bengals fan. Let him talk.
The only way,
very smart.
The only way that I can see the Bengals doing this is if Tannehill melts. And it's a possibility. I think it's a real possibility. I could see Tannehill throwing 2 interceptions in the first half. Because let's face it, Derrick Henry's back. What are they going to do? They're going to run the ball. Okay, they're not going to run the ball like we think they're going to run the ball because we think they're going to run the ball that way.
Oh, he has psyched himself
I think you're overthinking it a little bit too much.
You done ruined Kenner's fun.
You guys just said, well, the Titans don't blitz. The Titans are going to blitz because everybody knows the Titans don't blitz. You know, and I'm just saying, I think it's going to take a couple significant turnovers and capitalize on them, and the Bengals could do it. I don't know if that's really going to happen or not. My gut says 24-19 Titans. My heart says 34-21 Bengals. But I just got to see.
So, Mark Smith on Facebook, he's a Bengals fan. He said that we should hang up on you, Nick. Now, I'm not close to hanging up on you. You're one of the more, you see, you're a realistic Bengals fan. I did not think that any of you guys existed, but here you are, live on the air on the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, dropping some knowledge on your fellow Bengals fans.
I can honestly tell you, I would feel a lot different had last week not gone the way it went. If we would have blown the doors off of. But the one thing that I will say is Joe Burrow addressed that in his post-game interview. It was the first words out of his mouth. Just won a playoff game, first time in 31 years. How do you feel? We could have played better in the second half. It's the first words out of his mouth. And I honestly feel like he went back to the drawing board and retooled what they could retool this week. So I feel like they made adjustments in that effort. And
Joe Burrow is a walking cliche, though. Like, I don't take anything he says in his post games that serious because he knows what to say to get everyone off. But to your point, it would have been. I will give him credit on that. You're right. He could have made it right away. But man, I can't believe we just ended that 31-year drought and right away focused on the negative. So I will give him that. But no, he is a walking cliche. While other quarterbacks don't know when to shut up, and like Baker, he says the right things every single time. Does he actually believe it? I don't know. Like when he actually had the nerve to say, that he's surprised. Are you surprised that you guys beat the Raiders or that you finally won in the playoffs? And he goes, I am a little surprised because I'm surprised we didn't do it sooner. I was like, I'm done. I'm not listening to him anymore. You got to be kidding me.
That's awesome. To me, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Gotta go. No, I'm just joking.
No, the one thing that I heard this week that really kind of changed the way that I saw this game was from Mike Florio. And he said he thinks last week was the majority of the Bengals Super Bowl. Not every single one of them, not even Joe Burrow, but a lot of them, that was their Super Bowl, and they won it.
That's sad.
And I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know.
To your point, though, could all the emotion that went into getting that first playoff win in 31 years, was that, can they – where do they change their focus to? I don't think that these athletes are that dumb. I don't think the coaching staff's that dumb. But I do think you got to ask yourself. That means because sometimes it wasn't good enough just making the playoffs. You got to win in the play. And by the way, had they lost last week, it would have stunk. The narrative of the drought would have continued. But I don't think it would have been a disappointing season. Not only did you make the playoffs, you won the division in a year that you weren't projected to make the playoffs and especially win the division. So it was going to be a successful season no matter what. But to your point, it was such an emotional. You're right. It felt like that was their Super Bowl.
I think that's for the fans. I think this is for the fans. I don't think this is for the players. 31 years ago, Joe Burrow wasn't alive. You know what I'm saying? We got to start thinking about this. I don't think probably maybe like 4 or 5 guys on the roster were alive 31 years ago. Like, yes, if they would have lost the Bengals 32 years, I think that would have jumped on their back in that eras of years past failures or whatever would jump on this team. But you know what? They got it done. They scored enough points in the first half. They kicked some field goals to keep the Raiders at bay. They made the big play at the end with the interception, and now they're on to the following week. So I don't think that's fair to put this on them and say, oh, man, that was their Super Bowl. These dudes weren't alive. Matter of fact, they weren't probably, think about it like this, 31 years ago, their parents probably didn't even know each other. Think about it like that. Like, this isn't the failures of the Carson Palmer teams. This isn't the failures of the Andy Dalton and AJ Green teams. These aren't the same guys. The only people that continue to still be there are the fans and the ownership. So if it's the ownership feeling like it's a Super Bowl, that's one thing. The fans feeling like that's another thing. But Joe Burrow, like you said the right things. Like, yeah, we could have played better in the second half. And we could have took care of business, and we wouldn't have Kennard saying we only kicked 2 field goals in the second half. We could have scored more points and put it out of reach, and we could have been celebrating as opposed to biting our nails in the fourth quarter and everything like that. So I don't think it's fair to put that type of pressure on this team. Like you said, division champions, super successful season, and now they're playing with house money.
Then why was Joe Burrow wearing those stupid sunglasses? You don't wear that. That was his Super Bowl. I'm surprised he wasn't smoking a cigar after that.
Fashion is confidence, man.
Tom Brady gets a win in the playoffs. He just walks off the field. He don't wear no dumb sunglasses. He just sits
Tom Brady was alive 31 years ago. Tom Brady was a teenager 31 years ago. Think about that. That's crazy, right?
So Nora and I were watching a game the other day, and they showed the graphic of like Tom Brady now, and Tom Brady, they used a headshot from his rookie year. She goes, for a guy that's so good looking now, he was one of the ugliest dudes she'd ever, like the picture of him, like his rookie year, she goes, he was ugly as hell when he came up. Well, he went to Michigan, and he's on that campus for a long time. It just brings out the ugly in you. That's all.
Funny what money do, right?
Ron Howard says, Justin, the negative person. You hate because you support losing teams. You could still jump on Bengals and Bucks bandwagon. Man, Ron, you're so cocky for a guy that you're not even a fan of a real team. The Bucks aren't a real team. That's a LeBron type team where it's a super team. It wasn't organically built like the Bengals. I'd get on their bandwagon before the Bucks because the Bengals actually built this. Like, they drafted Joe Burrow, they drafted Joe Mixon. Like, everything about this team offensively, it's their core. That's what I love about the Bengals as far as that's concerned. They're doing it the right way. They didn't have to band-aid it all together. They don't have coaches smacking players. They don't have receivers taking their jerseys off, throwing them into the stands and throwing temper tantrums, walking off. I mean, come on, Ron, you could do better than that. Just saying. Greg on Facebook says, wow, Justin, you've lost a lot of weight. Well, thank you. I have. I've actually gained some of it back, but it's still, counts as me losing weight from the technical big number. But yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate that. David Shaw says, what does Michigan have to do with anything? So much for New Year, New You. Kinner is back. Yeah, and so are you. Go away. Scott Campbell says, once again, Kev is right.
Thank you.
Jake Whiting said, this dude listens to Florio. Oh my God, I can't. And he's laughing. Eagles fan Jake. Eagles fan Jake also said Florio also said Burrow was pulling an Eli. You mean just throwing a ball up in the air and having a receiver make you look good? That type of thing?
Is that what he meant?
I don't know. That's what I meant. I'm just joking. 518-1410. I see Charlie and a couple others on hold. We'll get to them on the other side. But in all seriousness, Bengals fans, I need you to convince me. I am on the fence. I said earlier in the week I picked the Bengals. But the more and more I look at this matchup, the Titans do a lot of things that are going to take the Bengals out of their comfort zone. And I want to stick with the Bengals, but I need y'all to convince me. Why are the Bengals going to win tomorrow? Not because you're a fan, not because you're a homer. All right, so I need to hear from the smart Bengals fans. Do you exist? 518-1410. Only call into the show if you are a Bengals fan and know football. That's the only way you're allowed to call into the show today. 518-1410. I want to pick the Bengals, but I need you to convince me. We'll be back in a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be partly cloudy and cold, a high near 25. Tonight's going to be mainly clear and cold, a low near 8. And tomorrow will be mostly cloudy, a high near 32. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street are huge supporters of the Dayton Flyers. Whether you're one of the 13,000 fans cheering on the Flyers at UD Arena or one of the hundreds of fans packed inside Tim's on game day, there is only two places that you can feel the passion of the Flyer faithful more than anywhere else. Timothy's Bar and Grill is also a sponsor of the Justin Kidder Show with Kev Nash in the afternoons and the Talking Out Loud Hour on Thursday nights with Sully. Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Go Flyers.
Are you involved with a school or charitable fundraiser that holds an auction, bid and buy booth, or a raffle to raise money? Many of the most popular items at auctions or booths are autographed sports memorabilia items. How can you get great items in your event? Call Adam Walter at Sports Investments. Sports Investments has a consignment program for fundraisers that has provided outstanding items. You select items that are proven sellers, including autographed pieces from Tiger Woods, LeBron James, Joey Votto, the Big Red Machine, the Bengals, the Browns, UC, XU, UK, NKU, Dayton, Louisville, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. Sports Investments consigns the items to your group at a highly discounted price. And when they sell, you keep the profit. You don't pay anything in advance. And if something doesn't sell, you simply return it. You'll enjoy the experience of dealing with the Walter family. Call them at 513-891-5000. Email Adam at sportsinvestments.com or visit them on Montgomery Road, right off I-275, just 40 minutes from WING.
Game time, you know what that means. Burgers, dogs, your favorite ice-cold beverage, and football. Hi, this is Kirby with Audio Etc. And if you're going to invite the gang over, you can't do it on that old-fashioned high-def TV. What you need to do is come by Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom and see the latest in 4K picture, 4 times the resolution of high definition, and experience it in 11.2 Dolby Atmos surround sound. Until you do that, you're just watching some big guys run around the field with numbers on it. See, hear, and feel what you've been missing. Installation available. 1 year, same as cash to QBs, not quarterbacks, qualified buyers, Audio Etc. Dayton's finest audio and video. And remember, all 4K TVs and projectors from Audio Etc. are gluten-free. Audio Etc. 551 Congress Park Drive at the corner of Paragon in Centerville, or call 434-9770.
Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus, home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well, medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
I know you've been waiting a little bit longer than normal.
Jen's manicure spot needs an extra pair of hands.
Who's at the front desk right now?
Someone who's handy with everything from nail files to spreadsheet files.
Deidre's not coming in today, but we have that whole bachelorette party.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Come rain or shine, high winds or mild breezes, blue skies or gray. It's a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
The divisional playoffs start tomorrow night in the Cincinnati Bengals, the Tennessee Titans. They will kick off the divisional playoff weekend. And right now we're previewing that matchup. And I'm on the fence, Kev. Earlier in the week, I said I picked the Bengals just because I like Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. I love that offense, that offensive weapon, that group of offensive weapons right there. I love Derrick Henry. I love, obviously, A.J. Brown. I love, Julio Jones and Derrick. I'm not a big Tannehill guy, though. And I just don't think, Tannehill's a good, solid quarterback. It might be exactly what they need. But at the same time, it's just like when I see that compared, man, this camera, I got to get this set up properly. It's throwing me off. It is what it is. All right, Kev, I'm just going to have you talk. They're just going to share. They're going to stare at my chin for a few moments while I get this.
No problem.
But, it is what it is. At the end of the day, though, I need to know from Bengals fans, you're picking your team, but why? Why? Just because you're a fan? That's the only reason you're picking your team, the Bengals, to win tomorrow, because you're a fan? We actually had a guy named Nick call. He's a Bengals fan, but he's a realist, and he said he's not comfortable with what the Titans bring to the table, so he's picking the Titans to win tomorrow. I appreciate fans who aren't homers. So non-homer fans, I need to hear from you. Your team will win tomorrow because why? Because I'm on the fence. I need to be convinced that the Bengals are going to win tomorrow. That's the only way I'm going to pick the Bengals. So you have till the end of this show to convince me that your team's going to win, and I need some good arguments. None of this, who day? None of this, Joe Burrow wears cool sunglasses. None of that. None of that. I don't want to hear about the quotes from Joe Burrow that every quarterback says after a game. I love that, by the way, Kev. Every quarterback says what Joe Burrow says, but everyone acts like, man, he's so poised. Such a leader. Every quarterback says what he says. He's not saying anything new. Okay? Oh, I think we need to play better. Well, yeah, I'd be concerned if you said anything otherwise. No, we expected to win. Well, yeah. If you said you weren't expecting to win, that would be a headline. Saying you expected to win, that's not a headline. Well, every team feels like, they expected to win. Had the Raiders won, Kev, Derek Carr would have said, never won a playoff game in my life, but I expected to win. I'm just saying. Matthew Stafford, who has been in the league a long, long time, won the other night with the Rams in the postgame. No, this was expected. That's why I was brought here. Oh, it's Matthew Stafford. Can you believe he said that? Oh, my gosh. I'm going to grow my hair out and not shave just like him. I'm going to have just stubble on my chin. I'm going to be just like Matthew Stafford. Stop. Joe Burrow saying exactly what every quarterback says in the postgame. That doesn't make him a leader. Actually, I guess being a leader means not saying anything to put your team in a bad light like Baker Mayfield does, and I'll give you that. But stop with this drooling over, can you believe what Joe Burrow said in the postgame? You mean the same exact thing that every other quarterback says in the postgame? Yes, I can believe it. It's not a dream. Coach speak, Kev. I love that media rights deals. They fight so hard to get access to players because, honestly, the best content comes from. It doesn't usually come in the post game, unless of course Dak Prescott. Though that was pretty good. Ugh. That was pretty good. Let's go to Ryan. Ryan, what's up? Ryan, you there?
I'm here.
You are live, man. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. It just depends on what you're calling it. So you're a Bengals fan, I'm assuming. I need to be convinced that the Bengals are going to win tomorrow. I like their offense better than the Titans, but the run game of the Titans scares me a bit, especially complemented with the way the Titans play defense. I think that combo is enough to neutralize the Bengals' offensive attack a bit. But I need you to convince me. Why are the Bengals winning tomorrow?
So, Justin, I think you're asking. It's a oxymoron you're asking for. I am a realistic Bengals fan, but you're asking for me to convince you that the Bengals are going to win. I guarantee it. I can't do that. However, I will say, here's how they will win. Okay. Is if we get a defensive turnover and it leads to 6 points, or it gets us close enough and we actually put it into the end zone a couple plays later. That's how I see the Bengals winning this game. I agree with you. I think that the Titans' offensive line, Derrick Henry, that combination is tough to stop. But if we can get a big defensive play along with a couple of big plays from the receiving core, Joe Burrow stays clean in the pocket, it can be done. And it could be one of these magical runs to the AFC Championship, kind of like what the Jaguars did a few years back.
And the thing is too, we make it the playoffs. We always make it so much about Josh Allen against Patrick Mahomes, but there's so many other big players that make big plays in these games that don't get highlighted as much. And we always act like it's Patrick Mahomes that single-handedly wills his teams to these wins. Joe Burrow didn't single-handedly will this team to a win last week. I mean, it was Joe Burrow, yes, and it was a little of Joe Mixon, obviously, and it was obviously Trey Hendrickson played a huge role in that. Ogunjobi, picking up the fumble, recovering the fumble right there. I mean, they're in McPherson. I mean, last week, can make it about Joe Burrow like I am, but even deep down, I know, and I'm not trying to troll and be funny here, that I know deep down that win was impressive last week because it wasn't all Joe Burrow. In fact, if it was all Joe Burrow, you'd have to be a little concerned that it's all Joe Burrow or nothing. It doesn't have to be all Joe Burrow for this Bengals team to win. And that's what makes them kind of interesting, is because you're right. They need to force the turnover. Hendrickson, like last week, you have Hilton, you have a lot of guys that are capable of forcing some turnovers, Bates. And then on the offensive side, you have just enough guys, whether it's Mixon, whether it is McPherson, whether it is, Tyler Boyd or T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. There's so many guys that the Bengals have to make plays, and they're going to need to all make plays on special teams, defense, offense to win. But the same thing goes for the Titans as well.
What happened last week against the Raiders, that was the formula you're talking about, where Burrow stays clean, we get a defensive play, McPherson's hitting some deep field goals. That's what has to happen in order for them to win.
Yeah, but they do need to score in the red zone more. Like I thought they weren't, it's one thing if you don't get in the red zone and you're kicking from 40 out, okay, that's fine. But when they got into the red zone on like 3 straight drives and they couldn't come away with the touchdown. Actually, no, one of those was a touchdown, but it was that controversial touchdown that technically shouldn't have counted, but it was still a good throw. It was still a good catch. There was no Raider around him to stop him anyways. But the rule was if the whistle blows, the play's dead. But at the end of the day, that was a touchdown. So, but no, they have to capitalize more in the red zone. But hey, at least they're getting there, and that's all you can ask for with this young unit right now.
Keep the ball moving. I hear you.
All right, man. Good stuff. Appreciate the call.
Thanks.
Good Bengals call. They do exist. What was his name again? Ryan?
Ryan.
For every Ryan, there's a Charlie. How are you, my friend?
I'll tell you what.
Charlie, I've missed your voice, man. What's it been, 24 hours?
You're so... I didn't even want to call today.
Oh, but you did. You did.
You're so jealous of Joe Burrow.
So jealous.
Oh
so jealous. I want a quarterback that can't score touchdowns in the second half.
How many Joe Burrow posters do you have on your wall?
You have no idea. When you ring our doorbell, it's it's who day think go beat them Bengals. That's when you ring our doorbell.
Hey, Kev.
Hold up, Kev. We'll be right back with you in a moment. So give me your smart-ass question.
Anyway, okay, but I do have one serious thing.
Oh, hold on. Before you get to the serious thing, Kev Nash is back, so you can ask him your question. Kev, what up?
Kev, can I audition real quick to be your co-host?
Go for it.
Please, I need a vacation.
Joe Burrow's QBR goes down when he's not being pass rushed. If you blitz Joe Burrow, he throws real good, but otherwise he's not good. And he can't throw in the tight windows.
I'm not going to lie, Charlie. That's the smartest you've ever sounded on this show. I'm not going to lie. That was excellent.
You act like half of the defensive plays are blitzes. How many times a game does a team blitz?
Why are you getting why are you getting all defensive about that stat that I read?
That's a dumb stat.
It's not.
That's just a dumb stat.
It's a dumb stat because it doesn't fit your narrative. I'm just saying.
No, that's a stat that you use to fit your narrative.
What's my narrative? I said he's good. I said he's the best quarterback in the AFC North. I said he's top 10. I said the Bengals were going to win. What are you you're being emotional, Charlie?
No. Now you said that they weren't going to win. Now you said they weren't going to win.
I thought it was raining. I just think it's your tears.
You found a thing that proved that Joe Burrow is better at throwing under pressure, and you try to.
That's a fact. That's not even an opinion.
Okay.
Kev said the same thing. How come you're not mad at Kev? Kev literally has said the same exact thing. How come you're not mad at him?
You're saying it like
because it's not what I'm saying. It's who's saying it. That's your problem.
In 50 plays, if there's 3 blitzes. That just is equal in your mind that you would even bring that stat up.
I didn't research it. I just read it.
It could be 30% high or 30% low based on that. Because how often is a quarterback even getting blitzed versus like a regular drop back? Is what I'm saying. That's kind of a ridiculous stat to even bring up. And then
so ridiculous. You're right. So ridiculous.
Then you act like he can't throw balls in the tight windows. You clearly didn't watch the game last week if you think that. Because Joe Burrow throws.
How many touchdowns do you have in the second half?
Joe Burrow won the football game.
No, the defense and the referees and the kicker won the football game.
Okay, but did the Bengals win the game?
Sure.
Okay,
Baker won a playoff game last year on the road, by the way.
Great.
Yeah, that's more impressive winning on the road. How many road playoff games has your team won in their history? Just out of curiosity, I can't remember. Was it 1, 2?
We're 0-7.
Wow, never won a road playoff game. Man, Baker won a road playoff game. Did I tell you that? He won last year at Pittsburgh. Did I tell you that?
Who is this?
Baker Mayfield. He's the guy that has the same amount of playoff wins as your quarterback.
Never heard of him.
He's the guy that owns your. Oh, that's because you guys call him Daddy. That's why. His name's Baker Mayfield, but you call him Daddy.
The progressive insurance guy.
Hey, all right. Hey, we've had fun, but in all seriousness, I want your take on tomorrow's game. Like, how do you feel about this Titans match?
Hold on.
Oh, not done being a smartass. Okay, Charlie.
No. This is serious. I cannot find anything. Why didn't Trey Waynes play a single snap last week? And what's he doing this week? Because I'm pretty sure we pay him more than anybody.
You still expecting him to play at all? Like, I thought that ship has sailed. I don't even think y'all need to even be thinking or worrying about him.
For the amount of money that we paid him, he should be playing.
I mean, he hasn't played.
In that Browns game.
I think it's time to move on. I think it's time to move on. I think it's time for the fan base to move on, to think like he's going to come out there and be a lockdown corner. I mean, he hasn't been there. The guys that have been out there on the field, that's what you need to be worried about.
But I mean, it's like we have Vernon Hargreaves and Trey Flowers coming in and playing, and a healthy Trey Waynes can't even. He played in that Browns game a couple weeks ago. The thing of it is, Kev, no one is talking about it, and I'm like, how is no one addressing this? Like, even if like what you're saying, like it's just like, well, they've decided they're going to cut him at the end of the season anyway. I haven't even heard that. So it's like, it's just weird that I'm pretty sure, again, I think he's the highest paid player on the roster, and no one says anything. And he's perfectly healthy. And I just can't believe he can't even play like 10 plays.
I saw Suafilo too. They had released him or what have you, and then they added him back to the practice squad. Like there's a couple players that have it's the players that have hit for them, obviously, that has kind of made up for that. But, Hilton, man, I like that get. Awuzie, I thought that was a dumb get in the offseason, but he's played way better for Cincinnati than he ever did for Dallas. So give him that.
Well, we definitely, I would say based on like hit rate for like free agents, I think we did really well. It just sucks.
It was your free agent class this past offseason saved what happened last year, although it was nice getting DJ Reader back this year, obviously. But I thought Hilton, because you didn't get that was a good one. You got and honestly, all the free agent moves you guys made that weren't the splash names, like Hilton, like Bell, and guys like that. Like hell, even Apple, as bad as he's been, he's made some key plays throughout the regular season.
He's had a really good comeback year.
So I'll give your team that. See, Charlie, I can give you that. But Charlie, I'm tired of hearing your voice. Give me your prediction for tomorrow. Heard it enough this week.
Well, it's 42-21 Cincinnati Bengals.
Ah, geez. 42-21? Didn't you hear my stat earlier? His QBR is going to be down 35 points because they don't pass. I mean, they don't have a pass rush. Are you kidding? They don't blitz.
Joe Burrow only wins big games. If more pressure, the better he is. The bigger, the better.
Charlie, I'll give you a hooday, man. Have a good night and enjoy the game tomorrow.
All right, hooday, man. I might try to get in and see you on Sunday.
Don't threaten me. All right, bye. See you, man. 518-1410. So, if I'm not mistaken, on 3, correct? Is this Milano's Larry?
Yes.
Milano's Larry. How are you, my friend?
Man, it's about time. Been on hold for 2 hours.
2 hours?
Jimmy here.
Man, 2 hours. Luckily, 518-1410, by the way. Okay, what you got for us, Larry?
Well, I got a couple of reasons the Bengals are going to win. First and foremost, I think we are a more battle-tested team because AFC North, pretty good division. Secondly, we've proved that we can come back and beat most people. A lot of our wins were comeback wins. Third, I really think that if we get ahead early by 7-10 points, something like that, I like my odds. If Derrick Henry runs for 240 and crushes us, that I can see. You know what I mean? But I don't see Tannehill going for 300 and 4 touchdowns and beating us. Does that make sense?
No, you're right. And that's why earlier I had said, Larry, that I think that the most important part of this game is going to be the first couple drives for both teams, because if the Titans jump out to a lead and their defense, like for instance, if the Bengals come out offensively, moving the ball between the 20s like they did against the Raiders, and then kind of stumbling in the red zone a bit, and they start settling for field goals, that's going to be advantage Titans. But if the Bengals can come out and jump on the board first, score a touchdown, and force Tennessee to play to them, then they're in good shape. But if Tennessee scores early and they're running a lot with Derrick Henry, and really it's not just a Derrick Henry offense, as crazy as that sounds, but their run game, if they manage the clock, if the Titans play their pace and their style, I think the Titans are in good shape. But I think it's very important for the Bengals. They cannot have a slow start. They have to come out firing right off the bat, not forcing, but they have to be able to produce right away. They can't ease into this game. They didn't ease into the game against the Raiders. They're going to have to find a way to jump out to a quick start like they did last week. They just got to put full 4 quarters together. That's all.
Oh, no, 100%. And, there's, a couple little X factors. I'm sure you don't really jump on Bengal Twitter and things like that, but
I've been banned.
Yeah, well, obviously. There's going to be a lot of Bengals fans at that game tomorrow. There's going to be, and that can make that. It's small differences, but those differences can make it. I'm going tomorrow. Like me and my buddies, we just decided today that we bought tickets. Oh yeah. I want to be there for. I just want to see it. But just everything that you're reading, and one of the biggest things. I've been a Bengals fan for 30 some odd years now. I lived through the 90s and everything. 9 times out of 10, we lose that game against Vegas.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? You have that feel that, okay, here's the other shoe's going to drop. Same way with Kansas City. It's like, okay, when's the other shoe going to drop? And you know what? This year, man, that other shoe just ain't dropping. It just isn't. And I think that has a lot to do with Joe Burrow. I think that has a lot to do with the culture that Zach Taylor. I wasn't the biggest Zach Taylor fan. I haven't been, but now just kind of seeing what he's doing, it just.
You don't think they're winning in spite of him? Are you?
No.
I'm going to ease up on my Zach Taylor hate, because results are results. But at the same time, Mike McCarthy wins a lot of games in Dallas, and people aren't satisfied with him. But of course, a lot of that has to do with how that game ended. His clock management skills are horrible. But with Zach Taylor, I just felt like this was going to be a year where you saw the Bengals take a couple steps in the right direction. You were going to see glimpses of greatness from Burrow in this offense, and that they would come up short, and that they would feel like they might have to move on from Zach Taylor, even though history tells us Mike Brown will not. He's patient with coaches. I think there's better coaches out there for this team. But again, if he's growing as they're growing, he's obviously going to be the short-term solution, being the next couple of years, maybe the long-term solution. Who knows? But I think he's definitely benefited from the way that this team has taken off. I just don't know how much credit he's getting, and should he be getting more? It sounds like you're saying yes.
Oh, 100%. Look what he did with going out and giving game balls, going to local bars in Cincinnati last weekend and giving game balls.
Getting COVID to bring back to his team. Great leader.
Hey, there's no COVID.
There's not in the playoffs. There is no COVID in the playoffs unless the Browns were in, then they'd have COVID.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Mike Brown, he won't pay for an indoor practice facility, but we have a little bubble. We keep
Joey. You don't want to be indoors during COVID. That's where it all, it spreads.
No, by himself, nobody around him, completely isolated. But yeah, no, man, just, being a Bengals fan and just knowing how crappy Mike Brown has always been, and they're finally playing to the fans. It's getting people excited. It's, there's so many new Bengals fans out there. It's ridiculous right now. It's the bandwagon team. It's the one to jump on, Us old guys that have been around for a minute, we're always expecting the worst, but even I'm starting to turn around thinking, man, we're on to something here. I'm not saying it's long term. I'm not going to say it's going to be like this. We could end up, being Cleveland and just, choking the next year after.
It was injuries, Larry. It was injuries.
It's the NFL, Kenner. Next man up, Kenner. It's the NFL.
No, never mind. I'm going to let you enjoy it. Yeah.
Who day. I'm just saying this year it's something different. And when you talked earlier about Joe Burrow saying the things that every other quarterback said, I've been listening to Andy Dalton for the last 6 years going, oh shucks, guys, we're just going to do our best. And burr, 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 burr. It was kind of nice to hear somebody. Yeah, I mean, that's what I hear when the Red Rifle talk, man.
Well, real quick, what happens if the Bengals lose tomorrow? You're going to hear that type of quote from Joe Burrow as well. Here's Joe Burrow's quote tomorrow night. It was a great season, but, the work's not done here. In fact, I'm going to be Paul Brown tomorrow in the freezing cold throwing footballs, man. Wearing my sunglasses.
What you're going to hear from Joe Burrow will probably say something to the effect was, this was a disappointment, and we're going to be better next year. Watch out for us.
Well, no, he said last week the expectation moving forward is winning playoff games. They got to win tomorrow. He said it. So they're a failure tomorrow if they lose, Larry. They are failures if they lose tomorrow. Larry, I'm glad you called, man. It's great hearing from you.
Hey, it's great hearing from you guys. Who day?
Score prediction. Oh, he got the who day. Milano's Larry. Shout out to Larry from Milano's.
I'm writing
Get
these
yourself
down.
some Milanos this weekend.
I'm writing these down. I got Charlie's. Was it 42-21?
Larry, if you're still listening, either call back or get on the Facebook feed and leave us your score prediction. Let's see. Bobby Sparks on Facebook says, look at next year's Bengals schedule. It's rough. Got to be one of the hardest. Play most of the great teams, Bills, Chiefs, Bucks. Don't forget the Browns. But, yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens when you win the division, you play all the other division winners.
So that's why, Mike Haywood says he predicts Bengals 27-24. Matt Sturgeon, how are you, buddy? He says, yes, the video feed is back up. Yes, it is. Tommy Pennington says 27-24 Tennessee.
One more time. Tommy said what? I'm writing these down.
I don't know. Tommy said 27-24 Tennessee. It's a Bengals fan. Wow. Bengals fans picking against their team.
Aha.
All right. Who we got here? 518-1410. Caller, what's your name?
Sean.
Sean, are you a Bengals fan?
No. Go Browns, baby.
Sean, great caller already. All right. What do you got for us, man?
Well, no one's mentioned the coaching aspect. Mike Vrabel is no slouch. I mean, he's a protege of Belichick, and I think he outcoaches Zach Taylor. I mean, what do you think? Have a good day.
And thank you, Sean. Go Browns. I think, honestly, coaching – that would be the advantage. Titans have the advantage at coaching. They have the advantage defensively. They have the advantage run game wise. You look at the Bengals, they have the advantage at quarterback. They have the advantage do they have the advantage? Yes, as a receiving unit as a whole, they have the advantage there.
Yes. This isn't
Titans have the advantage at offensive line. So, I mean, look, I don't think it's going to come down to do you think, coaching matters? Yes, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that's what this matchup comes down to. There's just so many variables.
Oh, it's a ton.
Actually, I lied. It does come down to coaching because they're two drastically different teams.
Yeah.
And it's really going to, how do you attack this? If you're the Titans, you have A.J. Brown, you have Julio, you want to be able to utilize them. You paid a lot, you gave up a lot to get Julio. I don't know how healthy he is. I don't know what, I haven't followed the Titans a ton. Schrody, I know you were listening earlier. You're a big Titans fan. What's the lowdown on Julio? How much should the Bengals secondary worry about Julio? That's the big question. I tell you what, we got a couple callers on hold. We're going to step away for a few moments. I'd love to hear from you. 518-1410, 518-1410. We'll be back in a few moments. Bengals fans, I appreciate you. You guys have been a lot of fun today. I said I needed your help. I wanted your help on. Don't just call in and say you picked the Bengals to win because they're your team. I want to know why you feel confident about their ability to win. Plus, at the end of the day, I've been impressed with the Bengals fans who have picked against their team. That shows that you're not a homer, and I respect that. We'll be back. 518-1410. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash next.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer Wet Jet. With Swiffer Wet Jet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer Wet Jet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
It's football season again, which means it's football season again. And here at Frank's Red Hot, we've put together a completely exhaustive list of essentials that will bring everyone together on game day. Essential number 1, Frank's Red Hot. I mean, come on, people, that was a given. Number 2, wings. Like, just so many wings. Okay, it looks like that's it. There's not even a third thing on the page. Do I just say the first 2 essentials again, or is that weird? Nope, just Frank's and wings? Okay, that's okay. Yeah. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? Would you notice a 16-year-old boy who got his first job,
not for extra spending money, but to help feed his little sisters?
Or a mother who's in between jobs and sometimes goes to bed hungry so her kids can have dinner? I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. I am hungered in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungeredInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
At Lowe's, find aisles of styles that transform. Create a serene space with an Allen & Roth Wilmer shower door for $549 and bathroom vanities starting at $99.98. And find an Allen & Roth Harlow brushed nickel faucet for $99. Design your room your way, from start to finishing touches. Shop the Lowe's Bath Style and Save event now, in-store and online. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. About the 318. Selection varies by location while supplies last. U.S. only.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Germain Honda Beaver Creek is your local Honda dealer. For a limited time, get 0.9% financing on the 22 Honda Pilot, Honda Passport, and Honda HR-V, and as low as 1.9% financing on all other 22 Hondas while supplies last. We can get the Honda you're looking for. We are taking deposits on current scheduled in-build 22 Hondas every day. See me, sales manager Jason High, for all the details. We're located Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way. I hope to see you soon.
Hello, Discover here to explain our cash back match. Here's how it works. We give you cash back for using your Discover card on the things you were going to buy anyway. Then we match that cash back in your first year. And that's why we call it cash back match. Now to recap and say cash back one more time. We match all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year automatically. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
I'm Serena Williams. You watch me live on TV.
And I'm the girl from that alien movie you watch on demand. Our worlds have been brought together thanks to DirecTV Stream.
Why are you whispering?
Because the alien will hear us.
Maybe let the alien know you can get DirecTV Stream with no annual contract.
He seems pretty excited by that, actually.
Introducing DirecTV Stream, the best of live TV and on demand with no annual contract. Get your TV together at DirecTV.com.
Wires, high-speed internet, incompatible device. Content varies by package and location. Restrictions apply.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer Wet Jet. With Swiffer Wet Jet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer Wet Jet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
Come rain or shine, high winds or mild breezes, blue skies or gray. It's a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
All right, and we are back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here. The show brought to you by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. If you're looking to buy or sell your home, give Brad Mays a call today, 937-572-7425. Brad Mays just helped my fiance and I purchase our very first home. And, of course, we're getting settled in as each and every day and week goes by. So, in fact, I told you a joke the other day that he's a realtor and he does fencing. He put our fence up. Him and shout out to my other friend, Nate Wolf. Make sure they joke. They don't. It's the Brad and Nate Fence Company. So there you go. But appreciate all the work Brad did. Brad works his ass off. I promise you, he will do the same for you. If you're looking to buy or sell your home, give Brad Mays a call today. 937-572-7425. We welcome you back. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. 518-1410. That's the number to jump in and call in on the conversation. And we'll go back to the phones talking about the Bengals. We want your Bengals predictions for tomorrow. And Bengals fans, the rules about this segment of the show is I don't want you just to predict your team to win because you're a Bengals fan. I want to know why. Like, I think you're just being a homer. If you think your team's going to win just because you're a fan of the team, then you're not paying attention to the game. I have no clue. I picked the Bengals to win, but the more and more I sit back and analyze this matchup, I'm like, I could just as easily see the Titans win. But to be fair, that's the same for all these matchups, Kev. If you look at the Bucs and you look at the Rams, I have no clue who they ought to pick in that game. I want to pick Tom Brady. And in fact, whenever you have a matchup like this that involves Tom Brady and it's neck and neck, you always go with the team that has Tom Brady. For me, when it comes to these types of matchups that they're going to be close, I always go with the team that has the better quarterback. That's why I'm picking the Bucs to win against the Rams. I'm picking the Bengals to beat the Titans as of right now. I still need to be, convinced that that's the right route to go. The Packers and the Niners, as much as I like the Niners, I picked them to beat my Cowboys last week. The Packers have the better quarterback. It's really just coming down to which team. Anytime you have as close of a matchup as these are as expected, I'm going to go with the team with the better quarterback. So I'm picking the Packers. I'm picking the Bengals. I'm picking the Bucs. The problem is, technically, Patrick Mahomes is better than Josh Allen, but I have no clue who the hell to pick in that one, Kev.
Well, real quick, I'm picking the Bengals. Kind of picked them earlier in the week when I was having a conversation with our guy, DJ Killer Kev. So I can't switch now. Going to ride with the Bengals. I am picking Green Bay in a good game, but I am picking the Rams to travel to Tampa to get the victory over the Buccaneers.
Because you're a big Stafford fan. I've told you Stafford's legit.
I mean, I had them going to the Super Bowl. It's kind of my theory same theory I had about them as I had Georgia. Super Bowl or bust. It is a Super Bowl or bust situation for the Los Angeles Rams. So I'm picking them to make it to the Super Bowl versus, I don't know yet, but I got the Bills beating Kansas City in a nail biter.
I just think the winner of the Chiefs-Bills game, that's who's going to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs-Bills winner will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. I am really curious too. Let me ask you this, Bengals fans. We could even look ahead if you really want to. We've seen the Bengals beat the Chiefs already, and it would be oh so sweet to beat Patrick Mahomes twice in 1 month, and to beat Patrick Mahomes and to get to the Super Bowl. How sweet would that be? But Josh Allen and the Bills or the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, which matchup? We're going to look ahead. You Bengals fans are so cocky. I'll pick in your team. I'm over picking the game tomorrow because you guys are so cocky. So let's just, all right, who are you looking to battle it out with to get to the Super Bowl? I mean, 518-1410. I'm curious. I'm just, that's what it is. So a couple of these score predictions. Tommy Pennington picks the Titans. He's a big Bengals fan. He says 27-24 Tennessee. Mike Haywood, 27-24 Tennessee. Schrody says Titans 100, Bengals 0. Damon Hahn says that he's picking the Bengals 31-17. Larry messaged back in. We never got his score prediction when he called in, Kev.
Okay.
He says Bengals seize the day 24-17. And how does Joe Burrow with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and Joe Mixon, how does a legitimate quarterback in the NFL like that only put up 24 points? You guys, come on.
You're ridiculous.
I'm just asking, if the Chiefs are playing the Titans this weekend, would you pick Patrick Mahomes to only put up 24 points?
What was the score of that game where Tennessee beat the Chiefs this year?
It's the regular season. Everyone was beating the Chiefs at the beginning. I mean, everyone,
Patrick Mahomes put up 3 points versus the Titans this year.
It's regular season.
I'm just saying.
The Chiefs are a different team right now.
I'm just saying. That was halfway through the year. They were on a 2-game winning streak going into that game. 27-3.
And at the halfway point, they were struggling. I'm just saying, maybe not for, they did. I mean, I was laughing at the numbers Patrick Mahomes was putting up, and people were talking about him having a down year. Yes, for Patrick Mahomes standards, he technically had a down year. Ron Howard, he says he's picking his Bucks to beat the Rams 27-23. Again, you have Tom Brady. How are you going to pick Tom Brady? Actually, he doesn't have a whole lot of weapons right now. They're pretty banged up in their wide receiving core. It's going to have to be, you have to rely on geriatric Gronk if you're going to want to put up the 27 points, man. Josh Maloney picking the Bengals 34-30. So that's more like it. This Bengals team, you should accidentally put 30 up. When you got Joe Burrow, who was like God, according to Bengals fans, and you have Jamar Chase, you have T. Higgins, you have Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. I mean, I'm sorry. If any other quarterback had 3 1,000-yard receivers and a top 5 running back, and you're in that same fan base of that team was telling everyone that Joe Burrow, that their quarterback is so great, you should at least put 30 points up in every game. At least. Otherwise, how elite are your weapons? I'm just saying, 34-30. Josh Maloney, I like your score. Matt Sturgeon says, score prediction for Saturday. I got the Titans 24-20. Great season. And stop saying they're ahead of schedule. They're not ahead of schedule. They are not ahead. You do not get to say that your team's ahead of schedule when you spent $200 million on that defense, when you have 3 1,000-yard wide receivers. No, this is the NFL. When you draft players, they're expected to produce right away. Like right away. Jamar Chase, is anyone saying that he's ahead of schedule? No, he's a legitimate player. But what you guys are doing is you're making your bed for a soft landing so that you could try to combat me on Monday when I'm just losing it with laughter if they lose, because you're going to say, well, they were ahead of schedule. They weren't ahead of schedule. When your quarterback throws for almost 5,000 yards, 30-plus touchdowns, 3 1,000-yard wide receivers, a top 5 running back, and a very, very good defense that your team, that your front office spent $200 million on, do you think that they spent $200 million on this defense over the last 2 years to say, well, hopefully in the next 2 to 3 years we can get this thing? No. You spend money when you're ready to win and win now. So, no, they're not ahead of schedule. I'm not letting you get away with that, Matt. And you picking that your team's only going to put 20 up, then Joe Burrow's not as good as you think he is. If Joe Burrow only puts 20 points up tomorrow night, he's not as good as you think he is. I'm just going to throw that out there. And I'm saying that because I know he's good, and he's not going to put 20 points up tomorrow.
They're not playing against air. You know that, right?
Huh?
You're not playing against air.
The NFL today is set up for guys like Joe Burrow and this offense to succeed. This the NFL today is not set up for the defense to succeed. So I'm just saying, no, they're not ahead of schedule. They're right where they should be. Now, if you want to say they're not ahead of schedule, they are lucky. They're lucky that the Browns were injured. They're lucky that the Ravens were injured. If you want to say that they're lucky, fine, they're lucky. But they're not ahead of schedule. They're right where they should be. All right, next. Randy says that the Bengals have multiple avenues to score. The Titans realistically only have the rush. If Henry starts off slow and the Bengals get some turnovers, that'll be a wrap. Bengals 27, Titans 17. That's a good point. The Bengals, the one thing I've said about them is they're not one-dimensional. It's not like, and I said yesterday, too, I didn't realize that the Bills had flipped the switch on the run game. Like, I think they said the second half of the season, they're top 5 in total yards rushing. Yes, some of that does include Josh Allen, but hey, if we brag about the Ravens being one of the top rushing teams in football with 90% of the yards coming from their quarterback, then I'm going to include that, for the same thing for that. Yeah, I'm just saying. Everyone's like, oh, the Ravens, all their running backs are out for the year. Yeah, well, their run game's still intact because it's Lamar Jackson. So there you go.
That's not true.
That's beyond true.
It's not true.
It is true. He is their rushing stats. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you discredit Connor when he ran for 1,000 yards.
James Conner never ran for 1,000 yards with the Steelers.
Yes, he did. Go look. He did.
What are we betting?
I'm going to go look. I promise
No. Before you look, what are we betting?
I'm not betting. I have nothing to give.
Yeah, you do. You got a whole bunch of time. You got a whole bunch of money.
Nope. Hold on. I'm going to look it up. Well, first we're going to go to a call. 518-4010. You look it up. I can't wait for you to be wrong. Look it up. James Conner.
So what are we betting?
I got nothing to bet, but I promise you it's just pride, okay? I'm putting my pride on the line here.
Okay.
Who do we got?
We got Ryan on line 2.
What up, Ryan? How are you?
I'm good, Justin. How are you?
Good. I appreciate you holding. Now, what do you got? You a Bengals fan?
I'm a Bengals fan. I would say a realistic Bengals fan. I no guarantees for me. I think the Bengals will win. I wouldn't be crying on Monday, but I think they gave you the perfect recipe against the Chiefs in the second half to win that game, giving Kansas City 3 possessions and 50 yards passing from Mahomes. So it's a good formula to do the same thing against the Titans. But, last week against the Raiders, their pass block win rate was 73%. Season average was only 48%, and that was with a backup right tackle. So, I feel good there. But I think the winning recipe is the passing game to set the running game up, where Tennessee will be the polar opposite. They'll run the ball to set the pass up. They're a play-action team. Mike Hilton's done great in the slot. They've been good against play-action this year. So, when you look at teams across the board, I think the Bengals are just a more talented team. Trey Hendrickson, if he would have been out, I probably would have picked Tennessee to win, but they get him back. 14 sacks on the year. But, overall, from top to bottom, I heard what you said, and I agree with you. The ceiling in the NFL is your quarterback. I think Burrow's a better quarterback than Tannehill. DJ Reader's been great at stopping the run. Ogunjobi, losing him will hurt, but BJ Hill, who they picked up, that was a lost one when we got rid of Billy Price and picked up BJ Hill from the Giants. But I just think across the board on the 53-man roster, the Bengals are a better team.
And I just think they're too dang explosive, and they're not one-dimensional. And and by the way, the Titans have Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, AJ Brown, but with Ryan Tannehill, I think if you put the rosters out there, take the Titans logo away, the Bengals logo away, and you just tell people pick an offense. Pick an offense that has Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase, and Joe Mixon, or pick the other offense that has obviously Julio Jones, AJ Brown, and Derrick Henry. I think everyone picks as good as Derrick Henry, not good, as dominant and great and fan-freaking-tastic as Derrick Henry is. I think everyone's picking that Bengals offense right there. So we'll see what happens.
Offense sells tickets, defense wins championships, and everybody focuses on the Bengals offense. But defensively, they've been solid this year. They've been rock solid. I think they're 5th or 6th against the run. Pass, they've given up a ton of yards, but bellied up in the red zone. Again, I'd say 27-20 Bengals.
All right, man.
Vegas has it at 47.
Hey, I appreciate the call. I appreciate your take. Good stuff, man. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
You too.
973 yards.
Oh, you found that.
973 yards. So he's no good? He's a bomb?
I never said that. You know exactly what I said when they let James Conner go. I never said James Conner was a bad running back. I said the Steelers needed to fix that offensive line. And I've been saying that for 3 years. So, again, he didn't rush for 1,000 yards. So I'll take my
27 yards.
Now
27 yards.
Hey,
27 yards.
It's not 1,000. And by the way, the Bengals don't have 3,000-yard receivers.
Oh, but again, 27 yards. What was the cutoff?
About $120 for Tyler Boyd. $120 short.
A slot receiver. This close. That's pretty damn good for a slot receiver.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to keep you on your toes, man.
Mark Smith says, Kinner's got me doing shots while he needs his pills, his blood pressure pills.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Matt said, don't worry, the pills are coming. By the way, it sounds so bad. The pill, you're telling people to drop pills in the chat. Like,
drop hashtag Kev was right. That's what we need in the chat.
And then put hashtag 27 yards.
Hey, man, he didn't get it. I'm sure that cost him some money, too.
Matt says, love to get Kinner fired up. So much fun. Took the bait. Relax. I didn't take no bait. You guys say dumb stuff all the time. I don't know what's real.
You really didn't think I knew somebody that was on my team didn't what they did? It wasn't 1,000 yards.
Speaking of 27, Scott said 27-20 Bengals, 27 yards. Mike Haywood said 49ers 24-17 Packers, Rams 31-20 over the Bucks, and the Bills 38-21 over the Chiefs, and 27 yards. So there's that. And by the way, we're talking about the defensive stats of teams. Like the number one defense just got throttled over the weekend. So, it's really just going to come back to performance. I said earlier, the Bengals statistically aren't the best defensive team in the playoffs right now, but man, they have a lot of playmakers that can take the ball away, and that's key. But 518-1410, we'll step away for a few moments. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on the other side.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy all types of real estate completely as is. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Welcome to Allstate, where saving on your auto insurance is kind of like a joyride. You, your car, and an open road. Maybe your best friend, too. The music is chill, and so is the traffic. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Call me, Dave Mowdy, at 325-2474. That's 325-2474. Right across the street from Frisch's on East Main Street in Springfield. Based on coverage selected, savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
KTH Parts Industries has immediate openings for second and third shift production associates and equipment technicians. KTH promotes from within, offers an attractive benefit package including medical, dental, 401k, attendance bonus, and a competitive wage starting at $19 per hour with annual increases and shift differential. KTH will be hosting walk-in interviews Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. through 3 p.m. Please bring a resume and photo ID to apply or see other career opportunities at kth.net. KTH is an equal opportunity employer.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
When others treat your fries as an afterthought, all you're left with are cold, soggy fries. That's why Wendy's new fries are ones you won't forget, guaranteed to be hot and crispy, or we'll replace them. We're talking natural cut, skin-on fries, perfectly seasoned with a hint of sea salt. In fact, they're even preferred almost 2-to-1 over McDonald's. These are fries so hot and crispy, they beg a new question.
What would you like with your fries?
Try them today, only at Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, taste preference based on a national taste test by an independent research company.
The Lowe's Just for Pros event is back. Get savings on the top tools, plus bonus perks to help with your business. Lowe's, the new home for pros. Valid 117 to 128 U.S. only.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be partly cloudy and cold, a high near 25. Tonight's going to be mainly clear and cold, a low near 8. And tomorrow will be mostly cloudy, a high near 32. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather brought to you by Cullet Propane, keeping utilities simple and families warm since 1952. See how and more at culletpropane.com.
You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, but when we just come out and say it, it feels like it falls a bit flat. So instead, we're going to hire a professional voice actor and pay him absurd amounts of money to say,
I like this product.
Not sure why that was better. I mean, I'm a professional too, but we didn't pay him to say the business part, so back to me. Save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. Sorry, I know hearing me say it was a bit of a letdown. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Get help managing your money for the life and years ahead. With Fidelity Income Planning, we'll look at what you've saved, what you'll need, and build a straightforward plan to generate income, even when you're not working. A plan that gives you the chance to grow your savings and create cash flow that lasts. Plus, you can start, stop, or adjust your plan at any time without the unnecessary fees. Talk to us today so we can help you go from saving to living. Fidelity Brokerage Services, number NYSE SIPC. Hello, this is Discover, and we take customer service very seriously. We know that if you have a question or concern about your credit card, that's a serious matter, and you need to talk to a real person about it. So we offer around-the-clock access to seriously talented representatives in the USA. Again, it's a serious endeavor. The only funny thing about it is Bob. If you call us and Bob answers, you're in for a treat. Get 100% US-based customer service and talk to a real person day or night. Discover exceptionally common sense.
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street are huge supporters of the Dayton Flyers. Whether you're one of the 13,000 fans cheering on the Flyers at UD Arena or one of the hundreds of fans packed inside Tim's on game day, there is only two places that you can feel the passion of the Flyer faithful more than anywhere else. Timothy's Bar and Grill is also a sponsor of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash in the afternoons and the Talking Out Loud Hour on Thursday nights with Sully. Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Go Flyers.
The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to assist veterans during this COVID-19 pandemic. Even though we are not meeting face-to-face, we are here for you. We understand it is a difficult time with this virus threat and the strain of implementing social distancing. For those Montgomery County veterans who have lost their source of income due to their employers having to close or reduce their business hours due to the COVID-19 pandemic, you may be eligible for COVID-19 Special Financial Relief Assistance. Please contact the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday for more information or to have an application sent to you. You can also visit mcvsc.org. The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to help Montgomery County veterans during the COVID-19 crisis. Call 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday or visit them online at mcvsc.org.
Come rain or shine, high winds or mild breezes, blue skies or gray. It's a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home, give Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty a call today, 937-572-7425. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash back with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Having a little bit of fun today, of course, to close out the week. Happy Friday. The Bengals, the Titans, the divisional round of the playoffs kick off tomorrow. The Bengals and the Titans will be the JV game tomorrow. They'll kick off first, and then what? That's how it works, right? Is prime time the first game or the second game?
Second game.
Networks love putting Cincinnati in that first slot to be between the Bearcats and the Bengals. They always get that early slot. Coincidentally enough, Derrick Henry will represent Alabama. There you go. I mean,
goodness.
I see a lot of correlations there. Just saying. No, like I said, we've been back and forth, having fun with it. I still like the Bengals over the Titans. I think that there's a lot of ways. Like I'm going to say, there's a lot of ways that the Titans could beat the Bengals. Well, of course, there's a lot of ways that the Rams could beat the Bucs, and a lot of ways that the Bucs could beat the Rams. These are the best teams remaining in the play. Obviously, the best teams remaining in the entire NFL at this point. But every one of these matchups, what's the matchup you're most confident in? What's the one match? And I think they're all hard as hell to pick. But when you look at the matchups remaining in this, at least heading into the divisional round of the playoffs right now, which is the hardest matchup to pick? I mean, right now, the Bengals and Titans, I have no clue. I mean, the Niners and the Packers, I think the Packers over the Niners might be the easiest game to pick, right? What's the easiest game? What's the game you feel most confident in your pick?
Rams over Tampa Bay.
Ooh, what's the line on that?
Give me 1 second.
That's how confident you are. One that means, yeah. But divisional round playoffs this weekend. Bengals, Titans, Niners, Packers, Bucks, Rams, and Bills and Chiefs. So, when I sit here and we talk about all the ways that the Titans could beat the Bengals fans in their typical soft, state, they get all upset. And I'm telling you right now, there is a way to beat the Bengals, but there's also a way to beat the Titans. There's a lot of...
Bucks by 2.5.
Bucks by 2.5. There you go. But 518-1410. There's a lot of ways to beat the Bengals, but there's a lot of ways to beat the Titans too. You don't got to get offended every time I bring up how the Titans are going to beat the Bengals. I picked the Bengals to win this one. But again, a lot of really good playoff matchups remaining. Which matchup do you feel the most confident in your pick? I have to put money on some of these picks. I have no clue. I don't, always say put your money where your mouth is. It's easy on the air to say, well, I picked the Bengals. But when I have to actually submit my pick to make my money, for entertainment purposes only, I don't know how confident I feel in the Bengals. I kind of want to go with Derrick Henry and company, but I got in these coin flip type games, I always go with the team with the better quarterback. What's your way of figuring this out?
The good old gut. The good old gut.
My gut's bigger than yours, so I'd go with my takes.
No, I just go with a gut feeling. I just go with what I think I see or have been seeing all season, who I think is a better team. Yeah, I know that the Tennessee Titans are the home team. And like I said, earlier in the week, I picked the Bengals, so I'm not going to flip-flop. But if I waited until Friday to make my pick, I would pick Tennessee. I would pick Tennessee to win this
Myers gets
game.
mad at me because we're in that pick'em or that eliminate or that knockout league, and he gets so mad at me because I wait till the last second to submit my pick. I'm like, because I have no idea. I get so nervous, and I'm like, I'm one of those. Literally, the last second is when I'll make my decision of who it is because I'll overthink.
Right.
So I've tried giving him my picks earlier in the week, and then I'm like, no, I changed my mind. I want this team. Never mind, I want this team. But 518-1410. Damon Hahn on Facebook says none of these picks are easy, but he goes, I'm honestly most confident in the Bengals win, and that's fair. I can't tell you you're wrong because I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, but I don't know what the wrong answer. 4 really freaking good games this weekend. Yeah. I have no confidence in my picks for any of them because they're all good enough to win this weekend, and that's what I find really intriguing about this. Like last year, you would have had the Chiefs and the Browns in the divisional round. I think everyone last year, if you look back at those divisional round playoff matchups last year, if I would have asked this question a year ago, Kev, everyone would have said, "Oh, I'm confident in the Chiefs to beat the Browns," and I would have probably been like, "Yeah, I think that of all the picks, even though I picked the Browns because we had that bet with Jason Fitz, but I could understand why that game last year would have been the easiest one." That matchup doesn't exist this year. Every one of these matchups is so dang close and so dang tight. But 518-1410, is this Jerry?
Hey, how we doing?
Hey, good. You know the rules, right? Like when you call, you just tell Kev that you want on hold to come on. Like you tried talking to Kev too much. You start trying to tell him your pick on the air. You got to slow down. I know you're excited, but my goodness.
It's okay, man. Well, I figured I'd let him screen that, right? So
you're testing him. Okay, I appreciate that.
I really would love because I know a lot of Bengals fans, I'd really love for the Bengals to win this weekend. I really would. So they're too decimated at defensive tackle. I think Tennessee's just going to wear them down. I think it's going to be a really close game. But I got Tennessee winning this game like 27-24, something like that.
So, I mean, and what kind of role do you think the referees will be this week, Jerry?
I don't think that's going to matter. It didn't matter last week. It's not going to matter this week.
I don't know. So, the Bengals, the only reason they won the division is because the Browns and Ravens were injured, and the only reason they beat you is because the officials. I don't know, Jerry.
Well, but Tennessee, let's face it, they won their division stunk. So they got to play Jacksonville twice, right? They got to play Houston twice. So let's not pretend that they're a world-beating team either. I just think with Derrick Henry back, A.J. Brown back, Julio Jones back, I think they'll convert red zone opportunities to touchdowns, and I think Cincinnati may have an issue with that, and that's why I'm picking Tennessee.
A Titans fan just messaged into the show and said, "Tell Jerry to shut his mouth." So you upset.
I know, I'm the kiss of death, right?
You upset a Titans fan.
I could be the kiss of death, and that's another reason why I'll pick them because I'd like to see Cincinnati win. I really would. As far as which matchup I'm most confident in, man, that's tough. I guess I'd have to kind of agree with you and say Green Bay because Garoppolo's got that thumb issue and he's got a penchant for throwing picks. But I could see, San Francisco's got a good run game too. So I'll say the Packers. That'll be my answer to which one I'm more confident in. So.
All right. Well, good stuff, Jerry. 518-1410. So you one more time, the Bucks or the Rams. I'm sorry, that's your most of all the picks this weekend. You are most confident in your pick of the Rams over the Bucks. That's fair.
Absolutely.
518-1410. Kev, who is up next?
We got Bob on line 4.
Is it Bob Love?
Mr. Love.
Oh, before I don't want him to get mad at me. So real quick,
Too late.
Bob. I was joking about the officials and everything. Like, relax. He's on 2, right? Where's Bob?
4.
On 4. Okay. All right. 4. Bob Love. How are you, my friend? There we go.
D-B-O-B, man. Don't confuse me with other Bobs, man. Don't confuse me with other Bobs.
You're the Bob.
The Bob. The Bob. Like the Ohio, I'm not even going to mention that. Anyway, let me say this. First of all, turnovers are going to be the key. Turnovers are always the key in any game. Whoever wins the turnover battle usually wins the game. I would still take the Bengals, even having said that, 30-27. And the reason why I say so is the strength of the Titans also happens to be the strength of the Bengals defense. The Bengals rushing defense, unless they're playing the Browns, is actually pretty good. Other than Cleveland, they've been able to stop pretty much everybody else's rushing defense. And also the weakness of the Titans is their pass defense, which happens to be the strength of the Bengals team. So that's why I would go that particular way. And I know a lot of the pundits are talking about, Tennessee's front 4 and these guys are this, that, and the other. Well, they say the same thing about the Raiders. In fact, I think the Raiders is actually a little bit better than Tennessee's, especially their edge rushers. And I think the Bengals' O-line actually did a pretty halfway decent job last week. I think Burrow was pretty clean last week. So that's where I would go.
So, Bob, the Titans fan that went off on Jerry, he's going off on you now. He called you a name, and he said that the Bengals' defense allowed 4.3 yards of carry this year. He said, yeah, what a strength. And he called you a name. But, I'm not about childish antics on this show. So
Exactly. And he's probably a Browns fan.
No, he's a Titans fan. He's a Titans fan.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, they're
yep.
You know what? They're angry. They're angry anyway. It might be 4.3, but that's okay. They were still like number 5. When they like number 5 or 6, they were top 10 against the rush. So we'll see. We'll see with that particular situation. But also, I think the game that I would pick, I can't believe this, Justin, but I think me and you are on the same side, man. I think I would have to kind of go with the Packers. In San Francisco, the last time I checked, aren't they still in California?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And aren't they playing in Lambeau where it's going to be like minus 60 degrees or something? So that's who I'm going to go with.
But they're in San Francisco.
The cold weather will affect them.
They're in San Francisco. That's not Los Angeles, California. It actually snows in San Francisco.
Yeah, but it ain't Lambeau. Minus whatever degrees it is with a bad hand. Like Garoppolo, and who trusts Garoppolo? He was awful last
Kenner
week.
does.
Hold up, time out. Garoppolo was out all of last year. The last time Garoppolo was healthy, they were in the Super Bowl. And then he goes injured and gets out last year, and then they're not even in the playoffs. All of a sudden,
remind me about that interception he threw in the Super Bowl.
All of a sudden, he comes back. It happens. Look how bad Patrick Mahomes played last year.
No. He didn't throw an interception with his eyes closed.
Look, he was awful last week. Garoppolo they won in spite of him. I know why Justin likes him because
here we go.
He almost I'm not gonna say it.
Nope, you can say it. Say it, fair.
You know where I was going. I know you know where I was going. You know where I was going. But anyway, I'm looking forward to all the games, and so we'll see what happens. I'm going with the Bengals 30-27. And let me tell you this. You know how good it feels to have a quarterback where you don't get. I can watch games now. And I don't even get nervous. I'm like Joe Cool. I'm sitting there watching the game. I'm not even twitching because we got a quarterback. I didn't feel that way with Dalton. I was always nervous. I had ulcers when we had Andy Dalton.
Oh my goodness!
I feel good, man. I feel good.
Oh.
That's no hate on Andy. I'm just saying, man. That's how it is, man.
All right. Mr. Bob Love, the Bob Love is right here from you. I'll give you a who day. Best of luck tomorrow. Here's to, we need a beer on Fridays. Cheers to no ulcers. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody wants those.
People need to stop freaking hanging up when I don't say bye. You guys the rule is don't hang up till I say bye so we don't have to hear the beeping in the background. I gave Bob Love a who day, and he just hangs up like that. Like, how rude is that? By the way, what do you mean you weren't nervous? Your quarterback didn't throw a touchdown in the second half. That made me nervous. If Baker Mayfield didn't throw a touchdown in the second half in the playoffs, people would be ripping him. Joe Burrow doesn't do it. It's all because he was trying to help the kicker. 518-1410. Kev, who's up?
We have Ryan on line 3.
Another Ryan.
Yes.
Ryan, how are you, sir?
Is this me?
Are you Ryan?
Oh, I'm Brian.
Oh, Brian. Yeah. See, I was going to say, I was like, a lot of Ryan's called today. I felt like talking to him, Brian, and here you are. So, Brian, how are you, my friend?
Okay, good thing. All right, good. All right, my score this weekend would be Bengals 34-20.
34-20? I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and I was yesterday. I think it was yesterday. You were talking, or maybe 2 days ago, about when the Bengals let Lawson go.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to let you know the reason they let him go was he never contained the edge. He and like Hendrickson and Hendrickson does a great job at that, and that's why they paid him the money for that. Plus, he gets the rushers in.
Possibly, but
Hubbard,
I do know that even a lot of media was super shocked at the fact that they let him go when the Jets made it sound like I know what you're saying. And by the way, Hendrickson's been fantastic. And can you imagine if they had both? But they did not go wrong with Hendrickson whatsoever. I was wrong on that. I thought that they overpaid. I said that they overreacting to one good year. I'd like to see more than one good year before you pay that much money for someone. But he literally won them a playoff game last week. So
nothing personal, but don't pay attention to the media.
We're the worst. I don't even know if we count as media, but
Yeah. And when you were talking about the passing percentage earlier, why his passing percentage is so much better on the blitz is the Bengals' 3 receivers are better than any team's 3 defensive backs, and so you got single coverage out there. So you got 3 guys to choose from. That's where the blitz picks up so much better.
He can get rid of. I mean, he has a good slot receiver. He has a guy in T. Higgins who's versatile, could beat you down the field, or obviously in short
tall and can jump.
Yep.
Yeah,
and then he's honestly his great games, like in games that you feel like Jamar Chase isn't having a big impactful game. He's having a big impactful game because when T. Higgins is having a big impactful game, it's usually a result of single coverage on him because of all the attention that Jamar Chase is getting. So Joe Burrow, he has weapons galore in Cincinnati. That's for sure. Which is why he should not have a whole half without a touchdown. I'm just saying, Brian.
Yeah, when you said about the Bengals having 3,000-yard receivers, you weren't wrong because Boyd did have 1,000 yards, but either last year or the year before.
Yeah, see, last year, Kev. See,
So you were right there. So I mean,
all right, Brian. For that, you get a hooday and you get a good luck tomorrow.
Hey, I wanted to ask you one more thing, please.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, at the end of the Dallas game, when quarterback takes off and he runs and he slides, if he would have right just before he slid, if he'd have taken the ball and thrown it out of bounds behind him, would that be a dead ball? I mean, you got the opportunity to talk to some officials, but I mean, I don't. So I just wonder if that would be a dead ball.
The clock keeps ticking until the ball hits the ground.
But like what he's saying is right before he slides, if he would just chuck the ball.
Yeah,
if he would just chuck the ball backwards out of bounds.
Behind him, yeah.
I mean, you're desperate to stop the clock. I mean, why the hell not? I mean, at that point, we see teams pick up penalties all the time just to give them a little bit more space when it comes to field goal or something. But
and if he throws it behind him, it's not intentional grounding.
But Dallas is a very dumb football team, so that for them to make an unorthodox outside the box decision like that, like they're not smart enough to make an inside the box decision. So, but no, you're not wrong. It's not a terrible plan when you're desperate like that. But like clearly, the moment was moving too fast for not just Dak, but Mike McCarthy and the entire team. I mean, they weren't prepared. Literally, the narrative all year was all about Mike McCarthy's inability to manage the clock, and I just find it so ironic that that's how their season ends. It really is ironic.
Well, I would just love to know if that's legal to do because I've never seen anybody do it. And
so I see someone in here saying
an official on there.
Someone says that's an illegal forward pass, but no, we didn't say forward. He said, Brian just said to throw it backwards, Mark. So, but hey, the Cowboys went backwards, so there you go.
Man, you just imagine if he tried to do it and the DB just caught it out the air and took it back to the house.
At this point, it was a dumb ending no matter what, so that would have just made it even more talk worthy. Ooh, but Brian, thank you.
All right, take care, guys.
All right, 518-1410 is the. Oh no. Water all over my laptop. Son of a... Oh, my God. Are you kidding me?
Go to break.
This is the worst week ever. Holy hell. How the hell am I going to clean? Bye. God dang it. This is stupid. I hate this week.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
From your kids to your pets, from your home to your business. Achieve peace of mind over what is most important to you. And do it yourself with Swan security cameras from Menards. Swan cameras connect to your Wi-Fi so you can monitor activity from your smartphone. And they work with Google Assistant and Alexa. Save big on Swan security cameras. Good through January 23rd. Right now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, Carrie, we need that tax report by tomorrow. Hey, Bobby, give me that expenses.
For Hari's accounting firm, client growth is exponential.
We're a couple of accountants short.
He needs whip-smart accountants at whiplash speed.
Hey, so why aren't these receivables matching up?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Ray Magliozzi here. Have you ever cooked a really fine gourmet meal? Yeah, me neither. But I'm told it all comes down to the ingredients. And when I need ingredients to improve my car, the place I go is eBay Motors. Whether you roasted your last transmission, graded your current floor mats, or pureed your side view mirror on a lamppost, eBay Motors has the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. And by the way, if you recently fired up your grill, don't worry, eBay Motors has grills too. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Game time, you know what that means. Burgers, dogs, your favorite ice-cold beverage, and football. Hi, this is Kirby with Audio Etc. And if you're going to invite the gang over, you can't do it on that old-fashioned high-def TV. What you need to do is come by Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom and see the latest in 4K picture, 4 times the resolution of high definition, and experience it in 11.2 Dolby Atmos surround sound. Until you do that, you're just watching some big guys run around the field with numbers on it. See, hear, and feel what you've been missing. Installation available. 1 year, same as cash to QBs. Not quarterbacks, qualified buyers, Audio Etc. Dayton's finest audio and video. And remember, all 4K TVs and projectors from Audio Etc. are gluten-free. Audio Etc. 551 Congress Park Drive at the corner of Paragon in Centerville, or call 434-9770.
Audio Etc.'s crazy cool showroom.
Ever have questions about your prescriptions, even in the middle of the night? Well, Walgreens now offers Pharmacy Chat 24/7, so you can ask an expert about things like the correct dosage of your medications or possible side effects. Speaking of side effects, the side effect of getting your questions answered at 2 a.m.? Sleeping much easier for the next 6 hours. Try Pharmacy Chat today or tonight, online or on the Walgreens app.
Yes, Miss Tubbs. No problem. I'll call someone about the plumbing.
One of Beatrice's properties needs a new superintendent.
Custodial team is not...
Someone with handyman superpowers and a concierge alter ego.
Does anyone know any good electricians near Parkville?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Ray Magliozzi here. eBay Motors has the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them. And if there's one thing I love, it's great parts and great prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
All right, we are back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. We'll close out the show with a couple things that caught our eye here in the Miami Valley here in just a few moments. But 518-1410 as we close out the show. Final thoughts on tomorrow's matchup. You know, everyone having fun today. Everyone, you know, giving their predictions. And then here's Paul Blanton. Paul Blanton is a guy that was a huge and still is a huge Mark Schlemmer fan. And I'm a huge Mark Schlemmer fan, but he hates me. He hates my guts. This guy is a little, I don't get what his problem is. I don't know if he wasn't hugged enough as a kid. I have no clue what his problem is, but he has hated me and he has hated this show since Mark Schlemmer retired. And he makes it his goal to just be as negative as possible about anything and everything. So while everyone's having fun today and enjoying the, you know, the build up to the Bengals and the Titans in the divisional round of the playoffs tomorrow, Paul stops by to say that it's Bengals with a bay or Bengals with a B. There's no A after the B. Well, there's no need to be an ass, and there's an A in that. So, like, and again, it may not be a big deal what he's saying, but this guy, he constantly has to say negative stuff. I mean, he's always just taking shots at the show and me and you and everyone.
Me?
You know, the only thing, I mean, you've done nothing to him.
Oh,
he's just a miserable human being that has to make everyone miserable around him. And I'm acknowledging him, which I should not be doing. I get that, but you know, it's just, it's funny. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right.
What's his name again?
Paul Blanton.
Oh, Paulie. I don't care.
He's mad at how you say Dayton. Or he's mad at how you say Bengals. He used to be mad at me at how I say Dayton.
Is Bengals?
Hey, you know what? You're lucky we're talking about them at all.
Cincinnati.
Just saying.
I'm sorry.
You know,
forgive me.
Gosh,
I used to stutter as a child. It really hasn't gone away too much, and I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry that I offended you. You'll be all right, though. You'll keep listening.
You used to stutter?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I'm not judging you. I'm just saying. I used to walk, my feet would like point in. I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I don't know why I thought about this the other day.
Pigeon-toed.
Yeah. My parents always used to yell at me. I'd be so pissed. I'd be crying as a kid because I'm just trying to walk to go to the bathroom and they're yelling at me for how I'm walking. I'm like, you guys are like traumatizing me and I just got to go pee and you're making fun of me for how I walk. Like, luckily I walk like a normal human being now. 5'5" in short. But other than that, I mean, I have, you know, is what it is.
Small victories, Mike.
Everyone has that like one thing about you as a kid. They like, it's, you know, whether you had really bad acne, you said you stuttered, I walked pigeon-footed. I mean, like everyone has that. Like, did you have acne bad?
Not too bad.
I did. I had it really bad. I forgot about it until I saw a picture of myself in like 5th or 6th grade. And I'm like, holy moly.
Now you got it in 5th or 6th grade? Oh,
no. Really bad.
Oh, no. I didn't get acne until I was
I you know, apparently
10th grade.
Well, everyone, I'm telling you, in 5th grade, I was the tallest one, fastest one, had acne. Everyone was, you know, early growth spurt. It was my last growth spurt.
I didn't have a whisker hair on my face until I was in 10th grade. Like, baby's bottom.
Lamar Shelley says, put his name in the chat. We're sending emojis his way. His name.
Dominate on site, baby.
It's Paul Blanton. Go get him, Lamar. Paul Blanton. He hides behind a Bengals logo on his Facebook page. Paul Blanton. He's the most negative person in the world, and that's coming from what many people believe is the most negative person in the world. So there is that. But 518-1410. A lot of good predictions have come in today, Kev, for this game tomorrow. Do you like Saturday playoff games?
I love it.
See, I kind of like that they played Saturday. No, I like them on Sunday. I don't know why. I prefer, especially at this point. I know they're trying to take advantage and trying to give every game a good slot that everyone's just paying attention to that one game going on. But there's just something about Sunday at this point. You're down to 4 games. Imagine, I guess you don't want overlapping playoff games, though. So I get why they do it.
I mean, my Saturday is jam-packed. So I'm going to get up, watch 2 episodes of Ozark. I know that you've already watched 6 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to watch 2 episodes of Ozark. So I'm going to start that at 10. At noon, from noon to 2, I'm going to watch the Syracuse Duke game. And then after that's over, probably about 4 o'clock, get ready for the Bengals and Titans at 4. And then at the 8 o'clock game, San Francisco and Green Bay. And that'll be my day in the house, not leaving. Deal with it.
How many, Lamar said, did you like that Monday night playoff game? That was odd. I didn't mind it because there were so many games wild card weekend that when there's that many games, you could spread them out. I just think you're down, you have only 4 games this weekend, but I guess they are divvied up pretty good. 2 games Saturday night, 2 games on Sunday. So it's not bad.
The hype was there for the game on Monday. Too bad the outcome wasn't there. I was hyped going into that game. I thought it was going to be a real competitive game, but it just wasn't. I mean, the way the Rams dominated up front, and I mean, my guy, Kyler Murray, threw a skyhook pass. Like, if I'm going to bang on Jimmy G for throwing the interceptions with his eyes closed in the Super Bowl, I'm going to bang on Kyler Murray for throwing a skyhook. He threw a skyhook in the end zone that got picked off for a touchdown. That was terrible decision, terrible. And that game was ultimately boring by halftime. After you saw a couple splash plays, the Rams knew that the Cardinals weren't going to be able to move the ball, and they just basically let Cam Akers get some good reps for the playoffs. So yeah, it ended up being a dud of a game, but the hype was there for sure.
Yeah, and then you had one of the best wide receiver performances of the season. As a Browns fan, but a Bengals hater, I watched a lot of Bengals games this year. I watched Jamar Chase have, how many 200-yard games this year? We had 100-plus yards receiving last week. I mean, Jamar Chase is a real wide receiver. Odell Beckham Jr. has 4 catches for 50 yards, and everybody was losing their mind. Oh, my God. See, the problem was Cleveland. That was his typical outcome in Cleveland. Couple catches, between 30 to 50 yards in that range. Never did anything great. He had the touchdown catch, which that is the only thing that he has done differently in LA than in Cleveland. But I think that that's more of his role. Like, his role changed in LA. I'm going to defend this until, I will always bring this up. As long as guys like Ryan Clark and the ESPN and national media guys keep trying to paint Cleveland as the problem, Cleveland has some to blame, yes, but OBJ was not a victim. When you're just as average with LA as you were in Cleveland, trust me, it's just you. Anyways.
Oh, I'm seeing the hashtag Kev was right in the chat.
Yeah, you got a lot of hashtag.
I'll make sure I go give them some thumbs up for that. We could use a couple more of those if you wouldn't mind.
27.
I was right.
Don't matter. 27 yards.
Hey, man. It is what it is, man. I ain't had nothing to do with that.
He's a bum because of 27 yards. Okay. It makes sense.
Well,
you said he's a bum.
You never called him a bum. Never called him a bum. But you're the one that said when a running back goes over 1,000 yards, that's only 65 yards a game. That's nothing.
Less than that now because there's 17 games.
So he could get 65 yards a game. It wasn't really his fault. It's because that terrible offensive line.
Holy moly.
Fix the offensive line, Steelers.
Jeez. All right. You know what? It's time to.
Is it that time?
Yeah, it is time. There's a lot going on in the Miami Valley, a lot going on around. So, I just kind of want to. What are some things that you look around the Miami Valley that caught your attention? Some of these storylines and headlines that we're not going to spend an entire segment on, but something that caught your attention over the weekend, throughout the week. What are some things that caught your attention?
One of the biggest things that caught my attention, this really isn't a Miami Valley situation. This is a college football situation. So news started coming out about Oklahoma quarterback Caleb Williams. So reportedly, he is down to 2 schools. Can you guess those 2 schools?
USC and...
You're correct on one. They're 1-for-1.
Texas Tech already has a quarterback, correct?
Correct.
So who's the other one?
It is down to USC and LSU, and that is reported.
LSU, huh?
Yeah. ABC
Chip,
News
good for
9.
Brian Kelly, good for him.
Yeah, so Dean Bevins is his name. He reporter for ABC News 9 in Oklahoma, says it's down to USC and LSU for Caleb Williams to transfer to. So looks like him going back to be a Sooner is off the table. The second thing that jumped out to me, I'm big into the NBA. I love the NBA. I watch the NBA religiously. All these Ben Simmons trade rumors. T-Wolves reportedly trying to trade for him for D'Angelo Russell. Hawks in the mix with trading him for John Collins. Pacers in it, trading him for Karis LeVert and Sabonis. Kings in it, but they're only in it if they're going to give up Buddy Hield and Harrison Barnes. So the trade rumors out there for Ben Simmons continue to spiral out there. A lot of decent destinations for him, but I don't think that Philadelphia is going to ultimately end up getting jobbed in this, because there's a lot of good players out there that just think, oh no, they're not stars, because their GM loves stars. Kind of like how the Lakers wanted Russell Westbrook over Buddy Hield, who's a much better fit on the Los Angeles Lakers, but he's not a star. I'm into people that fit on teams. The Sixers need another dude that could make a 3-point shot. Buddy Hield is that guy. If the Philadelphia 76ers really want to make the playoffs and make a run in the playoffs and go to the finals, they should trade Ben Simmons for Buddy Hield and Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes can give them another player off the bench and can play the 4, and sometimes he can play the 5, especially on the East. So they need to make that play with the Kings, man. Stop messing around trying to get a star because it sells tickets and anything like that. You know what sells tickets? Winning games and going to the finals.
They turned down a big package with the Pistons as well.
Oh my goodness.
That one kind of fascinated me as well, but
they were going to give up the farm.
Yeah,
they're going to give him Jeremy Grant, Sadiq Bey, and another player.
Olenek.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was all part of that, and then and still get a first-round pick. I mean,
not star dudes, but real good back.
No, but that's the difference. I mean, depth wins in the playoffs more than anything, and they already have a star. I could see if you don't have a star and you needed a star piece in return to replace it with, like I get like for Portland, for instance.
Yes,
when they move on, I know you have McCollum, but when you have obviously a star player, that Kev's guy,
Dame time,
but like when they go to trade Dame, if that time ever comes, they want a star in return, and that makes sense, unless it's a full rebuild and you're just getting
OKC route where you get 17 first-round picks.
But if they want a star in return, that makes sense, because you're giving up your lone star for another one. But you already have a star if you're Philadelphia,
right?
So getting a bunch of role players to put around them, and then you're one piece away after that, as opposed to the other way around. But interesting nonetheless. All right, what caught my eye, Kev? Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, big sponsor here on ESPN 1410 Wing AM. Sponsor of the Keith Byers Show Mondays from noon to 1. Make sure you catch that this coming up Monday as well. But Lee's, love the partnership we have with them. I golf with Chicken Chuck all the time, so shout out to Chicken Chuck. But I shot him a text over the weekend. I said it's really cool to see Lee's be really. This is the first major NIL deal that we've seen for any of the local schools here. Brian Roberts did a kick-ass job of just kind of dabbling in it a little bit with some of the social media kind of representation early on in this, but Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken teamed up with Dayton Flyers' Deron Holmes. So I thought this was pretty cool. Lee's is working with UD freshman. He's working with Deron Holmes, and they signed him to an NIL contract. Lee's has partnered with Deron with 3 goals: to promote the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken brand, build Deron's name and recognition in the Dayton market, and support the UD Flyers basketball program. Deron Holmes the second is the highest ranked recruit to ever commit and play for UD, coming in as the Arizona Gatorade High School Player of the Year. And if you haven't seen it, go to wingam.com, our website. I posted it on the website. He's a part of a couple really cool Instagram commercials for them. Like he's behind the counter and he's checking some customers out at the drive-thru. He's opening up the drive-thru window and handing the Lee's chicken out. You're going to see that commercial when you're watching TV over the weekend and stuff and moving forward. But really cool. This is one of the first major NIL deals done here locally. I don't know all the money involved, nor is that our business,
right.
But good for Deron Holmes, but the exposure. It is really cool seeing him. And I will say this too. I love that Dayton wasn't one of those programs that said you can't wear our jersey in these NIL deals. Like, they got a cut too. He gets his cut. The client and Lee's gets their, they get their guy. I think this is really cool. I think this is one of the safer ones we've seen. It looks pretty neat. Like it's a win-win for everybody, but it's really neat. Head to wingam.com to find out more and to watch the Instagram one. I think it's pretty cool. What else did you find this week?
That was really it. We talked about the NFL Network's tweet about the Tennessee Titans and all the pressures they've got on quarterbacks like Jonathan Allen and Mahomes and Stafford with 3 sacks, 4 sacks, and 5 sacks. My last thing about the Cincinnati Bengals game coming up with the Titans is be quick with your decisions, Joe Burrow. Don't hang on to the ball. I know that's your thing. You hang on to the ball to the last second, everything like that. Make quick decisions. They get pressure with that front four and drop a lot of people in the coverage to confuse you and everything like that. Don't hang on to the ball or you will lose the game.
All right, something that caught my eye this week here in the Miami Valley locally. Talked about it. Miamisburg's Jackson McGowan commits to play at Cincinnati for the Bearcats. Jackson McGowan, one of my favorite high school football players here in the Miami, just favorite high school athletes in general. Heck of a basketball player as well, Kev. But fantastic football player. One of my favorite games of the year was when Miamisburg stunned Springfield in one of the final games of the regular season and to set up the momentum into the playoffs. It was really cool. Jackson McGowan, star player, had a breakout year, really started getting a lot of offers, commits to Cincinnati, still has another year to play at Miamisburg. I promise you when we release our high school football game of the week schedule, Miamisburg will be on there once or twice. I promise you that much. I want to see Jackson McGowan play once again. Shout out to Cincinnati Reds Rookie of the Year and Jonathan India for, he was in attendance to watch the Bengals game. I only have 60 seconds, but he was in Cincinnati for the Bengals game last week. And he had a very cool interaction with an autistic fan, with an autistic baseball fan who, because of health issues, cannot play baseball. But Jonathan India, there to celebrate. He's drinking. He's there to celebrate the Bengals and took the time to interact with this fan. The video went viral. It was so cool. He followed this kid on Instagram and promised him tickets to an upcoming game and took a picture with them. But that's really, really cool. I thought that was a really cool feel-good story from Reds second baseman Jonathan India. So shout out to him. But that wraps it up for us here today, Kev. Glad we're back on the video side of things on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great weekend. Come hang out with us this Sunday at Frickers on 741 by the Dayton Mall for the Sunday morning tailgate show. College Football Hall of Famer, Dayton Zone, former Buckeye Keith Byers, and myself, Boring Ole, no accolades, Justin Kidder will be live at Frickers. But we're excited, of course, and hopefully we're talking about a Bengals win. Have a great weekend, and until next week, it's been the Justin Kidder Show with Kev Nash, presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty and Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
I'm Joel Clark, a Select Quote agent, with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and he can't take it with him. Well, I went to work and found Ray, who's 40 and takes medication to control his high blood pressure, a 10-year